And there's poor Mike.
Oh, shoot. Shoot.
Hello, poor Mike. Yes, I will be at MegaCon, so if you're there, you will probably meet me. Yes, lemon LaCroix. Cold, please, if possible. If not, it'll go back to the hotel room and get put in the fridge. Although I last year down at the Miami SuperCon, they had like a stocked fridge, and we took some of their stuff out and put some of our drinks in, and they were on sensors. The drinks were.
Oh my goodness!
So when you take something off, even if and I don't like it because I had to tell the front desk what happened, and I said the stuff is still there, but being on the sensors, as soon as it moves anything, it like charges your and even the stuff on top of the refrigerator was this, and it's this little bitty sign that says it's on a sensor. So if you just move it, I mean, if you just want to like move anything on that sensor, it bing, it charges it to your room.
Jeez.
So
that seems a little excessive.
Well, so when my son was young and we had him at a couple of conventions, and they don't have those little mini fridges in hotels much anymore. I think they're not making any money off of them because they know people are going to bring their own
drinks.
Yeah. And or they'll have that little market down by the front desk where you check in, where you can go pick out what you want, and you're still going to pay an outrageous price. But when my son was young, I would always call down and I say, look, I got a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old with me. He doesn't understand these mini fridges and the charges. I said, so he could rip open a box of candy I don't want. So they actually sent like a guy up with a cart, and they would, they would put the mini fridge on it and wheel it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was cool. I didn't know they would do that, but they did. So what I'm going to be doing today is inking this Mike Zach Craven. There's his signature already on it. This is from last year, and I'm going to finish it up for a guy that I have a few more pieces to do, Thorsten, and he's over in Europe. So I'm going to try to finish this today. We'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit tired from travel yesterday and doing a show. And Drew is coloring away on a Captain America commission.
Yeah, I have a lot to do today. As always.
Hey, be blessed, my man.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, right?
I told this one guy once, he's like, man, you're so prolific. I was like, prolific? Oh, that must mean tired.
Yeah. Also, what I'm going to do is with these Kuretake pens, Ron inked a drawing, although luckily he, it was nothing. It was something he was practicing on, but he went to watercolor it, and he said that it bled. And I kind of remember these being waterproof.
What? No, they are not.
But you use marker with them.
Yeah, but they're just water based. They're water based things, so they are not waterproof.
Marker
but I thought different. It's not. Marker is alcohol is different than water.
Yeah, I get that, but I thought you said maybe the part I'm using now, the ink was different.
Those pens are not waterproof at all.
I'll tell you what, I've got these Pitt Faber-Castell, and now I've put water over them.
Yeah, they're probably fine, but the Kuritakes are water-based ink. At least those are. Like, I've sneezed on a drawing and it bled. So,
well, I'm gonna let that dry for a while. That's gonna be our little little art, little tips or something. So this is a.
Yeah, I wish they were waterproof, but they are not. Not
Kentucky.
even kind of. I don't know about the other Karatakes, but yeah, those right there are. If you have water, you better keep it away. You better keep it away.
This is the pit pin.
For sure.
And let's see, just for fun, since I have one here, and I know this is the actual, let's get this out. Let's do one more, since I'm just going to slab some water over this whole thing.
I think Tombows may be waterproof too.
Could be.
The Tombow, like Fude brush pins and stuff.
Right. This is the Pentel brush.
Those are waterproof.
Right. And it's the cartridge that comes with it. So
yeah, those are totally waterproof.
Yeah, I'm just doing an experiment here, and this is on wet media Strathmore paper. So
yeah, because I've wanted to ink wash some drawings, and right before I went on, I was like, oh yeah, I used that stupid brush pen.
Okay, let's see who we got. So poor Mike's in, then LJ is in. Comic Man Andy, good morning. Mr. Ron is in the room.
I'm still recovering.
Uh-oh.
Well, I have antibiotics. I had a upper respiratory infection and bronchitis.
So your immune system is probably pretty good right about now.
I think so. Well, I don't have a spleen. I lost my spleen in high school. A football accident. Ruptured my spleen.
Come on, add some color to that story. A football accident.
No, okay, we were playing. Actually, it wasn't football. It was Kill the Man. And there was this guy.
Kill the man with the ball?
Yeah, you know that game, right?
Yeah.
You throw it up in the air. Everybody goes to destroy that guy.
Yep.
Well, we were playing that, and I had this guy who had the ball at the time. Had pissed me off because he had been talking trash about my girlfriend or something like that. And it made me mad. So I was going to destroy him. And he was running. He's super fast. He was like 5'5", tiny. I was about 180, 6 feet tall. So I wasn't super heavy. I was against average. Like I wasn't overweight at the time because it was high school. And he had been running from a group of guys, probably like 4 or 5 guys, and he didn't see me on like the other side of the field coming at him. And I picked up speed. And, this is totally my fault. I'm going to say this first because this is one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever made in my life. A mistake that kept me in the hospital for 3 weeks. I was going to just destroy him. I was probably going to hurt him, to be honest.
Right.
And I picked up speed. And there was this guy, and I'll never forget. His name was Warren. He was about 6'3", 250 pounds. Not that he was an athlete. He was just a big guy.
Right.
Super nice guy, to be honest. So we're playing Kill the Man. And Kill the Man, as you know, isn't a team sport.
No.
Right?
Right.
So I'm going to kill this guy. And Warren, for some reason, decides he's just going to get in front of me. And I don't know why he did that. I really don't know why he did that because we weren't playing football.
He wanted to kill the man.
But he just stood facing me. And for some reason, I was just it made me angry in a way. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go through Warren. I'm not even going to go or try and go around him, get out of the way. because I had already built momentum up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go through Warren. And you know what? When you're that much bigger than somebody, you outweigh them by 70 pounds. You don't go through people like that. So I hit him at full speed at what I was running, which was pretty fast, like top speed for me at the time. And I hit the ground, and Warren hit the ground. Luckily, Warren didn't get hurt. I would have felt super bad if he had gotten hurt. I got hurt. I hit the ground, and I immediately felt pain in my collarbone.
Yeah.
And I thought I broke my collarbone. So I started screaming because it hurt. Like, I never felt pain like that before. So I was cussing at the top of my lungs, just screaming. And my friends thought I was just being dramatic. Like, you're just being dramatic, you know.
No, you were being dramatic.
Yeah, dramatic. I believe their words were "stop being a pussy." Is what they said to me, which I deserve that. I will say that. Well, one of my friends didn't feel that way, and he helped me up. And we're sitting there, and it hurt so bad. Like, I think I broke my collarbone. I was 100% sure I did. So they took me home. But when I got home, I started feeling super thirsty. Like I never felt so thirsty in my life. So I drank like a gallon of water, and I was still thirsty. The pain, I tried to go to sleep because I was super tired for some reason. And my arm still hurt. Didn't care. I was too tired to do anything. But I couldn't sleep because every time I lay down, I had these sharp pains in my shoulder that would get, like, it felt like something was stabbing me in the shoulder, in my collarbone. So I was stumbling around, and my mother got home. I actually called one of my mother's friends, and I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. I think I broke my collarbone. Can you take me to the hospital? Because my mother wasn't home. She got home while my friend was on the way. Her friend was on the way to my house.
1 minute, Drew. I hate to interrupt you, but we got a little barrage of people in the room. Say hello to them real quick. Lloyd's here. Was that collector you did? Was that for Lloyd? Because I know he mentioned a collector.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning. So. Rob L. Hello. Scott Evans. How you doing? AG. Good morning. And C. Woodard 19 or Wood 19. What's up? Okay. So back to the your mom.
So my mom shows up.
And she calls you up.
No, she hits me.
she
actually hits me in the face. Because she was mad that I hurt myself. It's totally Asian thing. Like I hurt myself, so that's my fault. Yeah, she smacked me in the face, and then they took me to the hospital. When I got there, it was a military hospital.
Now, was she mad because you were hurt and the other guy wasn't?
No, she was just mad because I was hurt. When we got to the hospital, it's a military hospital, Langley Air Force Base. So it was super crowded. And I just decided, like, there's no seats. So I'm just leaning against the wall. And this nurse stops and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "No, I think I broke my collarbone." She goes, "I don't think the collarbone's the problem." And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Well, you're white as a sheet. Like, you're super white." And I'm pretty brown as a
right.
So she's like, "You're white as a sheet. You need to go back now." So she takes me back, and the person who took my vitals and stuff, she's just reaming him. I could hear him. Like, she's like, this guy could have died. He's obviously bleeding internally. Like, what is wrong with you? Why did you just?
And that's all you want to hear, right?
Yeah. So I get back there. They immediately put me on fluids, and then they do X-rays. And yeah, I was bleeding, but they didn't know to what extent. So I had to do CAT scan, MRI, did the big machine.
Right. Yeah.
MRI.
The Wally Wood machine, as I call it.
So they had to do that. So they had, it was a military base, so they didn't have the machine. So they had to.
Now that just strikes me as funny for some reason. You think they would have the CAT scan, the MRI machine?
1991, man. And legally, like, the military wasn't as well funded back then. So they got an ambulance from the local hospital, and then they ambulanced me to that hospital. And I want to tell you that ambulance ride was horrible. Like, with all the pain, I was telling you, every time I lay down, I would get these sharp pains. I have to lay down. And hitting all those bumps, like, those ambulances are not, like, I don't know, the suspension in those things back in the day was horrible. So I get there. They get me in the machine. They keep telling me I have to sit still, which I'm having a real issue doing. And I get it, like, I have to, but the pain, John, this pain was intense, man. Like,
was it worse than when you jumped off the roof?
I didn't know this. Yeah, I didn't hurt other than my face. I mean, it literally felt like somebody was, like, just taking a hot knife and stabbing me in the arm, in my collarbone. So they did the X-ray. They saw there was no break. By the way, I did not break my collarbone. So they did it, and apparently my spleen had been ruptured. Like, it looked like I had been in they said, a major car accident.
Mm-hmm. Like,
my spleen was obliterated. Like, there's no way they could have done anything to help it. Like, it was done. So they're like, you have to go into surgery, like, now. You've bled, like, I think they said 3 pints of blood into my stomach. So they're like, you have to, like, we have to get you into surgery. So they ambulanced me back because the local hospital, of course, isn't going to cover me. So they ambulanced me back to the base where the doctor who was doing
another little trip, another little trip to make you more discomfortable, right?
Yeah, it was horrible. They get me back, and then the guy who was supposed to do the surgery apparently at the time was the only guy in the area who could do it, but he was actually about to board a plane to go on vacation. So they had to get him back. So he had to turn around from Norfolk International Airport to come back. And then they went over all the way. This is crazy. They had to go over all the ways I could die, which at 16 years old, and the percentages, like, they tell you everything. Like, they don't.
And you're in an earshot of hearing all this, right?
No, they were telling me.
Oh, I see.
It's before I had to sign paperwork waiving them of anything that went wrong. It's not their fault because these are the ways you could die. Like,
I thought they would have had to have your mom sign off on it because you're underage.
Yeah, she was there. We were both. So.
And she's still slapping you, right?
No, at this point she's crazy. My dad isn't there yet. He was in Maryland because he lived in Maryland,
right,
at the time. So he's on his way down there. Like, I went into the hospital around 5, and this is about midnight. When they're deciding that they have to do surgery right now, they pretty much said, like, if you don't do surgery, you die. Like, that's 100%. But here are the other percentages if we do the surgery, which was horrible. I felt so scared.
There's no good odds either way, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was my heart stopping and this and that. So I signed all of that. And then the anesthesiologist comes in, and he's like, have you ever been high before? And at the time, no. I was like, no. And he's like, well, let me just tell you, this is going to be the best high you'll ever have in your life. I don't know about that. What I do know is he took my blood, came back, and they gave me a shot.
Yeah.
And my whole world, I immediately got tunnel vision. Like, everything just went like quickly. And then I remember them wheeling me down a hallway. And two doctors, like in full garb, talking, and they were making like dead people jokes. And
maybe they thought you couldn't hear or something.
Well, they didn't know I was awake.
That's what I mean. Maybe they thought you were out.
He looks over to me, one of the doctors, I don't know who, and he pats me on the shoulder. He goes, "Don't worry, buddy, we're not talking about you."
Yeah.
I was like, great. And then I woke up like, it was like 15, 16 hours later. I was in an ICU. I had like tubes everywhere. And that's when I was exposed to a catheter. Yeah, because I was trying to move and I felt a yank on my stuff. And I was like, well, did the nurses come running in? Because like I was really disoriented. So I was like trying to pull everything out. Because like last thing I heard was how like dead people joke.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? So I woke up and I was freaking out.
Hey, I'm gonna say hello to Dr. Kaz is in the house. Hi, Dr. Kaz. AG, welcome. And this Craven is from last year. It's for Thorsten. Where's he at? I want to always say Germany, but I think it might be Germany or somewhere close to Germany. I've got a lot of art. I got 2 more pieces after this I need to finish for him. I had started his face, and then it got put aside. So just coming back from that show, which was a nice show. The people were very attentive to everyone there. There was just not a lot of foot traffic. So don't know if that had anything to do with this whole coronavirus or if it was just low attendance. But anyway, just wanted to say hello. And hello, Kevin just came in. And Drew is in the middle of he lost his spleen story. So that's what we're getting treated to today. Just when you think that it's, his stories can't get better, he comes up with something else.
Yeah. But yeah.
He's got a book in him.
Huh?
You got a book in you.
I do. Like my son, like my youngest, he always freaks out when he sees my stomach because I have a scar, that goes from like my sternum all the way to my belly button.
Oh, we get to see that at Heroes Con, right?
Oh yeah, if you want, I don't care. It's pretty wide too because as I gotten older, I guess I'm not as thin as I used to be. So,
you're like the size of the guy that you ran into.
Yeah, he was fine. He felt really bad when I saw him in school like 3 weeks later. I told him it's not his fault. It's my fault. Even though I was like, why did you get we weren't playing football? I don't understand. Like he actually, what he saved me from? He saved me from hurting someone.
That's true.
So I was never mad at him. He thought I was. He was worried I was gonna try and fight him, and I was like, why would I do that? Do you see me right now? Like I can barely walk. Like when I got out of the hospital, I was rail thin. I could have walked 20 feet, and I felt like I was going to pass out. It was horrible. I ended up getting like pneumonia super bad after that. And then I was back in the hospital for like 3 weeks with pneumonia. I almost died then too. At least that's what the doctors tell me. Because they said if I had waited like 24 more hours, I would have ended up they wouldn't have been able to help me. And I was like, because I did. I'll admit I waited a long time to go to the doctor because I was so traumatized by the splenectomy that when I got sick, I couldn't breathe. I didn't know I had asthma too, by the way. So I avoided going to the hospital until I was driving to the local grocery store and I passed out. Pulling out of the parking lot, I just passed out. And then I woke up and I was about to like hit a telephone pole. And then I was like, I better just go to the doctor. And I did. And they're like, you have severe pneumonia. You have tons of water in your lungs or liquid. And yeah, it was like 2.5 weeks, I think, in the hospital that time.
Oh man, you packed a lot of living into those early years.
Yeah, that was when I was 17. It was probably like 6 months after my splenectomy. Yeah, my girlfriend at the time cheated on me while I was in the hospital. It's great.
That's the best time she could, you know. I mean, what are you going to do?
With my best friend. Yeah, that sucked. I didn't find out until she went in. Like, here's the bad part. I didn't find out until we graduated high school and she went to join the military. And she went to basic, and I found out while she was gone.
Y'all were broke up then, or
no?
So
yeah, we were together for a year after that.
Okay, so how'd you find out?
The guy, he told me.
Did you believe him?
What? Yes.
When he told you,
I had heard it from somebody else, but I didn't want to believe it.
Okay, so then you finally had to confront her to really get the truth, right?
Oh, well, she didn't deny it.
Okay.
So I told her to F off.
I guess she already did.
Yeah, when she was gone, she came back to when she had a little bit of leave to see everybody, and that's when she told me. And I was like, "That's awesome," because he already did you dumb thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Right.
But to be honest, like we had already been apart for 3 or 4 months, and 3 or 4 months when you're 16, or I mean 17. I wasn't 18 yet. When you're 17 is it's like an eternity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, and to be honest, I had super low self-esteem. Like I don't know. I'm way more confident person now. I probably didn't I didn't say anything for those 3 months that I knew, mainly because she wasn't here, but also like I also didn't want to be alone.
Right.
So, I don't know. That was years, of course. You know, many more relationships after that, but she was my first like love. You know.
Yeah.
High school.
You know what they say? The first cut is the deepest.
Yeah. Oh, it hurt me. I was upset, but like I think about it now, and I'm like, why was I so upset? She was such a bitch.
You know, when you're 16, you don't have that perspective.
Yeah, I would totally like
you have an adult perspective about it now.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when my wife and I first started dating 22 years ago. Like when we first started dating, I was like, what do you want in this relationship? Like, what are your goals? Like, do you want to just be friends and have fun, or do you want a real relationship? Because like I'm kind of down for either. And she was like, well, I want a real relationship. And I was like, okay, well, I have rules. My first rule is I don't play games. So like at all, ever. I don't like not relationships. Like we can have fun. But
you mentioned that.
If you want something, you tell me. If
right.
I ask you a question, don't tell me a lie because you want me to feel better. Like just say, hey, I don't like that. Or don't do that. And then we can talk about it. But I was like, I don't play these silly games. I just can't do it. And we never have. Like we never have. When I ask her something and she doesn't like it, or she just tells me, I don't agree with that. No, I don't want to do that. And then I'm like, well, why? And we talk. She doesn't do that mess where like, do you want to do this? And she's like, yeah, sure. And then halfway through doing it, she's just like, you know what? I never want to do this. This sucks. And you get angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play games like that. And also another rule was trust. Like I'll trust you until I don't.
Yeah,
And
I'm like that with everyone, you know.
yeah, if I don't trust you, like it's over. Like you know, it's just over. Like I can't. Like I have to. That's the one thing I have to have is trust. If I don't trust you, then like we just need to end it because I'm not going to go through this. We can work through it because to be honest, I won't ever let it go. And that's childish of me, maybe, but I know in the back of my head, something will happen, and I'll bring it back up, and that's not fair to her. Uh, so, well, I mean, 22 years later, I guess it worked.
Yeah, I would say.
I trust her implicitly. Like she could do whatever she wants, go wherever she wants. I have no. I don't know. I don't have any worries ever with her. So the show is slow.
Yeah. Uh, it was Fayetteville is where Bill and Hillary Clinton had their first house, and
Oh, yeah?
they arranged a little tour the Friday night. I was too tired to go. It was only at like 7 o'clock or something, but I knew the night would run long, and I'd been up since like 4 and traveling all day, and
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
yeah, it it would have been kind of interesting, but I can pass on that stuff. I've been to a few areas that, like I was in San Antonio last year, and I was 2 blocks from the Alamo, and I went by and took some pictures, and that's kind of cool. But I didn't you know, hang out there for hours and just, think about the historic,
Significance of it all.
yeah, it's like I said, it's cool, but I couldn't get a tour or anything. It was on the weekend, and by the time I'm in the show when they're giving a tour, and by the time you're out, the tours are over. So a tour of that I would have maybe done that. Clinton's first house that him and Hillary and lived in,
Yeah.
I would have
grew up on-
making really bad jokes, so or maybe good jokes. I don't know. So maybe it's better I didn't go.
Yeah, I grew up. Well, I grew up part of my life on a military base that was a historic landmark.
Right.
I've kind of been desensitized to historic stuff. Like everything was historic there. Like you had Lincoln's house. You had like where they held Jefferson Davis after the war. Like everything was Civil War, where they used to shoot at U-boats from the base into the Atlantic. Like all that stuff, man. It just felt like everywhere you go, something was historic, and there's always tourists there, and I don't know. And it was TRADOC headquarters, so which I don't think it's around anymore. I don't know. We had like historic lighthouses and chairs and like everything everywhere. So it's like every time I go to museums or I go to those tours, I like shut off every time. And I don't know why. It's just like I don't mind looking on my own, but like the second I get this tour guide vibe thing, I just kind of shut off. So I'd probably be with you. I'm like, I'd rather just walk through myself and then be gone in like 20 minutes.
Right.
But that's not, like I said, that's nothing against the venue. That's just me.
Yeah, no, that's my own thing too, is, like I said, it's nice that they arrange stuff like that because I know some people are interested.
Yeah,
I'm just not big on, I'm not really there for sightseeing, and, I don't know. I kind of, in a way, part of me feels guilty when I don't have my family with me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like I'm like on a little mini vacation, but actually it's work. So
Yeah, no, I totally don't feel that way. But my wife sometimes feels that way about what I do. But yeah, I'm like, dude, I work my ass off. I have no, like, like you know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I've never felt that way. Like I said, my wife has brought it up before, and I'm like, nope, not even kind of a vacation. Sure, sometimes I get to go to nice places and do nice things, but then like the other 12 hours of the day when I'm drawing and talking to people, not to mention the like 4 hours maybe after to do the commissions and stuff, uh, I'm allowed a couple hours of freedom, you know? So I never feel like that. I get your point though. I can see your point of view. I can see where you would feel like that. But
no, I'm
man,
allowed my freedom. I just it's me. You know, it's not them, it's me.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I get that.
I don't
Uh,
get, you know, I've never heard to like, oh, you're out having fun and stuff. You know, it's like, you know, it's me inside. You know, I'm
yeah.
just like I'm here, you know,
You
I'm
feel a
not
little
here
guilty
for
because you're
sightseeing.
having fun.
Yeah.
My wife did that to me once. Like the whole like, what are you doing? Because I was at a drink and draw, and I was actually leaving. And somebody had posted online like people karaoke and having all this good time, and I wasn't there. I was actually walking myself back to the hotel room because I had drawn some things that were going up for auction. So I was
Right.
done. I was like, I'm cool. I think I've made enough of an appearance that, like, you know, because they gave me a table and stuff. So I felt like I want to support the show, you
Right.
know. Uh, so, and she was really mean to me. And then I was just like, look, like, this is childish. We're not doing this. So we had a talk and we worked it out. Like, she understood. She's never given me any kind of grief after that. Because like I said, it's I threw the trust. I mean, to be honest, I used the trust thing as a weapon because I was, you know, pretty much I said in 20 years, like, when have I ever given you any type of like weirdness or taken advantage or did anything to purposely hurt you? Like, ever in 20 years at the time.
Right.
And she just sat there quiet. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Never have I ever. Have I never disrespect you in front of people. And if you felt like I disrespected you, you've always told me, and I've apologized publicly to in front of people. Like, I don't care because I can own up when I do the things wrong, you know. So like sometimes it takes a second to like kind of remind people of who you are, and then they go, "Oh yeah, this isn't a movie or a TV show. Like, this person doesn't warrant this type of like treatment." So I'm
Move
gonna
your
stop.
cap over into your camera view a little more, Drew. There you go.
I gotta put pieces of tape on
I
the
know.
board.
That's you know,
I,
you got that sweet spot, and once
well,
you
I got a new setup.
huh?
I got a new setup.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
I got this like movable arm for my Huan, so I can now move it out of the way.
Sweet.
So I can actually use my table
I was
again.
gonna say it's weird having all the table space back, right?
It's wonderful, dude. It makes me so happy. Uh, but yeah, you're right, man. And to be honest, I can get the camera closer on my drawing now.
Uh-huh.
So like that's how I'm getting. Like before, it was kind of far out.
Right.
So now I'm like right on it, and thus
Right.
the limiting of space.
I like the nice little highlights you're putting on Cap there.
Yeah, just little ones here and there. You know how it is, man. You overuse white and you overuse it, and it looks like crap.
It looks like what was the company that first started out and was it Hi-Fi? They really did the highlight.
Oh yeah, the hi-fi, the colorist group.
Yeah. And everything had a hot spot on it. Everything. Every little like
Yeah, everything looked like plastic.
yeah. Looked like it was wrapped in saran wrap or something.
Okay. Oh yeah.
If anyone has questions regarding art, take this chance to type them in the room.
And then maybe somebody can answer that. Like,
and then Drew and I can come up with an answer.
at least make something up.
That's right.
That looks cool. I'm happy with that. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up, and then I'm going to do a pencil drawing, John.
Oh, yeah?
It's a Patreon thing. They pay, I think it's like $25 a month or $15 a month. I think it's 15. And I do a little 6x9 pencil sketch.
You do Patreon?
Yeah, I don't promote it because it's so much work, and I'm a working comic artist, so man, like fulfilling Patreon stuff is hard.
Well, that's I kind of looked at them, but I don't know anyone that's being very successful at it. I mean, personally, I see other people that I don't know.
Yeah, I was doing really well for a little bit, but then I realized I wasn't getting any real work because I spent most of my time doing the Patreon.
The fulfillment thing, right?
Yeah, or like having to post stuff, and like it is a job on its own. So I can't do that. So I just offer pencil or pencil ink, small sketches.
I was going to say with you do so much work in a month. Your Patreon could just be like, I know you show all your commissions for free, but you could do those on, yeah.
Well, yeah, that sounds like it's good, but half of my following is because I post for free.
I know it. I know, but what I'm saying is that's what I see a lot of people do is it's like you have to buy into their Patreon to see what they're working on.
Yeah, I know some people who did that, but their following has not really grown at all.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said
Yeah, I don't know how that. I mean, sure, in the short game, you get like a few $100s a month,
right?
But is that worth it? Like, is that build on your career? I don't think so.
No.
Like, I think work. Like, you have a volume of work, like that speaks like to your credit, So like you doing a Patreon, I could see being super successful. But I don't have that volume of work to build off of. I mean, I have a decent amount, but nothing like you have like critically acclaimed, like I want to say key books, like so. I think Patreon would be different for you than it would be for me. I can see you being successful at it. Me, it would take more time. I think I always feel I can be successul at anything. But
if I was going to do something like that, why do I need Patreon's platform? I could just do it myself.
You can. You could. I believe that too. I do. I think you'd be fine. You don't need them taking 3% of your stuff. Or 4% or whatever the hell they take. I don't know.
It's 5 to 8, I think, right now.
All I know is they pay my my electric bill.
Yeah.
I can count on that every month, about that much.
There's this girl that I actually started just I guess I just paid for this month. She only has one tier. It's $5, and I saw her work on Ethan Becker's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Her name is like Loish, like Lois.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and so $5 a month, and she gives you like everything. No pun or bad intent.
She's got a sweet art book too.
And it's like, like already, like at the end of February, she sends out this PDF of like high-res stuff of everything she's done that month. And she has like her, she pretty much, she's dedicated to
Patreon,
everything. Yeah. And that's basically the way you would have to be, I guess. But she's, like I said, she's got like 1,145 or say like 1,150 followers, 1,150 at $5 a pop.
Yeah.
So
But
there.
like, I always worry if the juice is worth the squeeze at that point.
Well,
Like,
she's making. Let's just say she's making $5K a month off of Patreon.
yeah, but like the amount, like this, but like I said, career wise, like how does that further you if you have to spend all that time on
But
Patreon?
here's the thing: is I think she's, and you've heard the term, I guess, or whatever, an independent artist. She does her own stuff. She's not sitting there drawing Batman or Superman, and
so she's gonna. Well, I mean, I'm sure her following, like I know of her, she's really good. She's amazing.
So I follow people for a while. I've and if they post regular, like it seems like she does, I'll stick with her. But it's those people that like you'll get one drawing in a month, and you're like, even for $1 or $3, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't what your tiers said I was going to get.
Yeah, I have just pencil sketch tiers. I do have an interesting one where you give $25 a month for 10 months, and then you can get a full color single character commission.
Hey, you did sell that Dark Knight piece, right?
Oh yeah, I had like a bunch of people want that thing.
I know it.
I just did first come first serve on it.
That turned out really nice.
Yeah, I charge a little extra because I did the ink wash on it.
Yeah.
So I added a little more to my initial price, and they were fine with it, which is fine. I like I said, that was a commission for somebody. It was originally a double page spread, but
that's
decided to do something different.
What did somebody just they said they were ready for it and then they weren't, or?
Well, no, we were working on it together. He's a designer.
Okay.
Let me know. He's a very accomplished designer. And he asked me to do this piece for him, and then it became us doing it kind of together.
Okay.
No, he's paying he's paying me more than I asked anyway. Because I told him how much I charge, and he was like, I'll give you more than that. So, nice. We were working on it, and originally I had the mutant leader in the front, and he was like, I don't know, I wanted to be more of a Batman piece. So we flipped them and put Batman in the foreground and the leader in the background. And then he didn't like that setup, so I came up with something completely different, which I'm still waiting on approvals for. But I liked the Batman version so much. Right. I was like, screw it. I told him I was still going to do it. But instead of doing it as a double page spread, I did it as 11 by 14 because that's the same ratio.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't expect as many people, I don't know, to be about it, like to like it as much as they did. It was very surprising. It was very humbling because I had no idea. And all the offers I got for it was way more than I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't ever have a problem selling art, but not like that where people are like, I'll take it. And you're just like, look, man, I don't want the pressure of money right now. So when it's done, whoever gets it first is just the way it goes.
Right.
I'm not going to auction it because I'm not trying to drive the price up either.
If somebody comes to you first and, wants dibs on it, then, even if you say originally, here's what it's going to be, and you say, look, I'm going to add tones, I'm going to add a little more to it. Are you okay with that? But you kind of said that, right? That if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And that's what happened. Like I finished, I think at 3 a.m. I sold it like at 3:02.
Right.
I was like, wow, that's crazy. From a guy in Spade. So it was morning time for him.
Yeah, really.
Morning. So
hello, Coffee Breath, and say hello to I don't know if that
I say Ed Dewey, by the way. Not Ed Dewey. Ed Dewey. Ed Dewey. Is that what you... I've never even heard it like that.
I don't know.
The sausage?
Gino wants to know why he has no visual artistic talent. Well, you probably do. You just got to practice that dirty, dirty word.
I always tell people, because how many times have you heard this, John? I can't even draw a stick figure or a circle.
Yeah, I'm like, great. You don't want.
I always say, well, if you drew circles for 8 hours straight every day,
that's true.
You would draw the best circles ever.
You'd be the circle king.
You would. So that's what I always tell them: it's 10% talent, 90% work. Like I know guys in high school that people were like, dude, they were amazing artists, but everybody always told them how awesome they were.
Oh yeah.
And they never applied themselves because it was easy. It's like, yeah, who cares? Like, I'm badass. But then, like, that's a big fish in a small pond. Now you go to college, and now you're a small fish in a big pond. People aren't telling you how awesome you are anymore. Not only that, like, some of those guys I knew, like, you'll ask, well, what are they doing now? Oh, well, he sells cars, or he's an insurance guy. But he was such a great artist in high school. Well, he was told he was great so much that he didn't need to get any better. Like, he just felt like now you ask him why he's not doing it now. It's just like, it was my thing back then. It's, I was already good enough, I guess. So
I constantly look for new influences and new things to do. And even though it doesn't reflect like sometimes drastically in my work, I know that whenever I start looking at someone, there's subtle things I pick up that like that Nick Runge guy that we were talking
he's wonderful.
I can't wait now to do another watercolor because just watching him work, it's like
it's great.
It was like I'm like, wow.
He's an exceptional talent.
I can't wait to just, even if I screw the thing up, I can't wait to just put the watercolor down with that much guts,
I follow another watercolor guy. His name is Zimu Tan.
Yes.
He's wonderful. Oh, look at that white piece of paper.
Hey, I know, Drew. I know what I was going to ask you since we have we missed Monday and it's been a while. Do you have the little Heroes Con sketchbook and you can kind of catch everyone up to date?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm only 4 drawings deep in it, so there's 10 more to go in there.
Okay.
But I have till June. I'll probably get it done once I hit this deadline. It's on the 7th. This is my deadline. But I only have 3 pages left. What day is today? So I'll have it done on the 6th. Wednesday or Thursday, whatever the 6th is. What is the 6th?
Gee, I don't know.
But yeah, I've got this.
Yep, that was the
Wolverine, little demon. I inked that.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your Instagram.
And I'm just doodling, like just playing, and that's it right now. There's like 10 more pages left.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be hidden somewhere at Heroes Con.
Some lucky person is going to find that sketchbook.
I will have another one, I believe, too.
Yeah, you said they're going to send you one of this year's, right? Like in advance?
Yeah. Whenever they get them printed for 2020, then they're gonna send me one. Yeah, I'm just happy. I don't know, to help out the show if it does. I don't know if it does.
You know what? I think everything you can do helps the show out. I kind of feel bad because I have never donated anything for the auction.
Yeah, you haven't?
No.
I went like 3 or 4 months or years without doing it. But last year I did a watercolor marker piece a big two-face one.
Right.
It was the best mine ever did. So mine usually don't do so great.
Well, I kind of have that fear, and maybe that's why I haven't done it. That I'm going to be one of those ones where, can we get an opening bid of $80 or $100? And it's like, no. And then I know they have the Sunday thing where pieces that don't make the big stage are like on a wall or something, right?
Yeah. I don't. You mean, are you talking about the live art stage?
No. They actually have like a wall, and I think it might be some of the artists that contribute something that aren't.
Oh, you mean for the auction? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
not all of them make the auction, the
Right.
Saturday night thing.
Yeah.
Some people take that like personally, man. I think that's weird. Like they're just like, I don't even. Well, it's for like, who cares?
Right.
Like I don't understand. Like some people have told me they use that to like promote their table, but then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Like you're setting up expectations that don't exist. Jesus, like, like just do something nice and don't worry about it. Like I don't understand. I don't know. There's like so much anxiety and weirdness involved with the auction sometimes. Mostly for the younger guys and ladies. The people who haven't done it a lot.
Like me.
I hear like stuff like, "Oh, my piece didn't sell well, so now it's going to affect my prices at the show." Why? Why would it do that? Like,
no, I don't feel that way. I just feel like, it's like, gee, Adam Hughes has that beautiful, and Stelfreeze and Andrew Robinson are up there, like,
yeah. Did you see that
like gods
last year?
Huh?
Did you see that Doctor Strange Andrew did
last
year? Oh my god!
I know. He just gets up there. Him and Stelfreeze both. They just get up there and like make it look like it's easy.
That shit hurt my feelings. I was like, what? Like, oh, this is weird. The camera's kind of in the way. Here, you know what? Let me try something different because I can't. The camera's. Oh, hey. I knocked my camera off. 1 sec. I'm a mess, John.
LJ says the not so silent auction is on Sunday. They can't put all the pieces up on Saturday. That's true. You all would be up to 5 a.m. if all the pieces went up on Saturday night.
That's true.
Oh, let me add Drew back in unless he's totally offline. There he is. Okay,
oh, I just couldn't draw because the camera's in the way it's set up. I can't see. So I'm going straight to the table.
Wow, what are you doing there with that red pencil, Chief?
A black cat.
No digital. You're.
Well, it's a Patreon thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I completely got off track of that because
I like drawing in just pencil as long as I'm allowed to render with it, like
right.
Brave. I don't know. Yeah, I got into it one year, like because I mean I will say I have an affinity for that show.
I do too. Yeah.
Like they were the first show to ever comp me a table. Heroes, and they're also the only show to really treat me like one of them. There's no weirdness, and they never have. They've always been super nice.
Yep.
Welcoming. There's never been any awkwardness. And like so because of that, I stand up for that show a lot. Like I tell people to go to it if the people have never gone, the table at it or whatever. It doesn't matter. But this one guy uh, was complaining about the auction because he was like, I sell a piece on the floor for $300. I go to auction, it sells for like $85, and he's complaining about it. To not me, but to a bunch of other people. And
Right.
somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, did you do an auction piece?" I was like, "Yeah, I did this. I did a Ghost Rider." And they're like, "Oh, cool." And I didn't know what it went for. I try not to pay attention to that. Unless I'm there, then obviously I know. But if I'm not there, I don't really care what it's sold for, just as long as it's sold. So he's like, yeah, this person over here has been complaining to all these people about it. So I was like, wait a second. So I went over to the guy's table and I asked him, I was just like, hey, I heard you were saying like all this really negative stuff about the auction and this and that. And then he explained to me that whole thing, how it's devaluing him and da 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 da. And I was like, well, that's a crazy thing, man. And he's like, what's that? I was like, that auction's not about you.
Right.
Like, I don't like. What are you talking about? I was like, if you don't want to contribute a pizza, don't. Like, but that's not the auction's fault. Like, if your piece doesn't sell for much, maybe in the sea of amazing drawings, people are spending their dollars somewhere else. But that doesn't devalue you as an artist or a person. Like, you're taking it very personally, and it's an event that's not made for you. It's made for the show.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like you're holding everyone accountable for it, for your anger and anxiety. I was like, that's unfair, man. I was like, he's just like, well, I just think the auction is whatever, stupid or something. And I was like, well, then don't. Like, my advice to you is to just don't participate.
Here's the thing. I've been, even before Heroes Con, I was doing store appearances for Shelton.
Yeah.
So we go back that far. I was supposed to be at the very first Heroes Con, and for some reason I wasn't, but I was at the second and the third and the fourth, and
so
yeah. So, I have a long history with the show, and I remember, that the auction used to be for the fire department for the children's or something like that. But, things got bad. And one year the proceeds had to go to the show to help offset the cost of everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
people
a lot
were
of people,
happy about that.
Yeah, because it was, it wasn't like really, it wasn't, I don't think it was put out like before the auction. I think people heard about it after the auction.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, you know what? Shelton's been so good and he's treated all these people so well. It's like for him to like
help too.
Yeah, I mean, that's not an easy show to put on.
Yeah, not only that, like how many of those people get put up in rooms? And
that's what I'm saying. It's like, Shelton, it tries to be as fair to everybody as he can be.
Yeah, I agree.
And
not only that, all the people he gives free tables to.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like,
and I'm telling you, it's like that show is, you go there and you're, it's hard not to, you got to almost try not to get something done or get a commission or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's always, I don't know.
I mean, you're always going to have your Zablo there looking for your $25 sketch guy. And, but you know what? They got him there. And
they did. And like I said, like let your work speak for itself. Don't worry about it. I tell all the young guys, I'm just like, hey, boy, money poisons the mind, man. Like, don't let it do that to you. Like, you're letting it control who you are, and like you're not your worth isn't set in that. Your worth as a person, it goes way beyond that. So uh, stop putting your value in what somebody else thinks. You know. But yeah, I had that talk with that guy. He doesn't put stuff in the auction anymore. He actually doesn't go to the show. Right? He goes like every other year now, if that. I don't think he's been in the past two. So I don't know. Maybe I drove him off. I don't care. Like I don't know. I just don't think it's fair. Like, and like I said, I didn't go over there raging.
Right.
They're talking, you know, like a person.
Trying to actually do a little bit of a pep talk.
Yeah, like come on, man. Don't blame the show. It's not the show's fault. And even then, like I said, it's voluntary. You don't have to do anything. They don't make you do it. Like you do what you want. But also you get what you like. You get whatever you want out of it. Like if you want to put your value and all that in that, and it becomes that important thing, then cool for you. But don't get upset when it doesn't work out. Like, and sometimes people are holding out. Like maybe your piece was first, and they had that sweet Andrew Robinson, Doctor Strange there. Like I'm just saying, man. Yeah. I love looking at the pieces there.
I know. It's like, hey, come here. Have you seen this? Okay,
Yours was lucky it made anything. I'd be saving my money for that thing too. If I had a couple $1,000s, I could just throw away.
Right.
Well, it's not throwing it away.
No, but I know what you mean. Just to spend on a piece of artwork. I don't have that kind of money either.
Yeah, because we all know, even as an artist, art is a want, not a need.
Yeah. And I'm thankful for the people that can afford it.
Yeah, I am too. And not only that, some people are like extra generous,
Yep.
They give you, I call it a tip.
Oh, yeah, I call it a tip too.
I'm just like, and I always appreciate it, but it's always shocking when it happens. Because it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Not for me. But it's really nice when it does, and I appreciate it. I got a bunch of tips and extra help when my car got stolen. A bunch of people got pieces and just like kind of gave me a little extra as a
right,
which was super duper nice. I totally did. It really did help out. I was able to get a new car. I got my insurance money, but with depreciation and paying the old car off. Yep, it was a little rough, but luckily, with everybody's help, I was able to get a car, a new car, because I have I have a friend that is the sales manager at a Honda dealership, and locally, and he hooked me up, and I got a new car at lower than the even though the loan is due, which sucks because the other car was almost paid off. He got me a loan lower than what I was paying before. Right. So even though I'm starting fresh, I'm not paying as much a month because I was able to put money down because of everybody's generosity. And of course, the insurance money helped as well. But it was, I don't know, man. People are wonderful. They can be. People can be awful. But,
man. Rod says, speaking of Patreon, I don't know however it's said, but he says if you offered an 8x10 poster of one of your drawings every month, he thinks that would be a good thing. But then you got to mail them all out, right? Yeah.
What I usually do with those, what I tell them is like, look, like we'll mail it every 3 months. So if you do it for 3 months, if you're only going to do 1 month, then you might as well just commission me. But if you're going to do it every month, every 3 months, I mail them. That way I don't have to, like, if you only give me $15 and I'm spending 7 of it to ship it, you know?
Yeah.
But if you spend $45, I don't mind spending the $7 to ship it, you know? And because it doesn't cost any more to ship. But usually when I do like the sketch tiers, that's what I do. I'm just like, well, like every 3 months I'll ship it out just to save on the cost. Or if you're going to a show and I'm going to be there, I'll deliver it there if they're patient enough. Yeah, stuff like that. You can work stuff out. Because most of the time, everybody who gets the Patreon stuff, you already know. At least at the beginning, you know.
I might sign up just so you have to send something to me.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm gonna sign up at your lowest tier just to annoy you. And then
my lowest tier is $1, John, and
that's anything, right? That doesn't get you anything.
I guess you. Thank you.
Yeah,
which I do. Thank you. I mostly have that. Like I said, it pays enough that it pays for my electric bill.
Right.
Every month, which is nice. It's one less thing to worry about. Oh, no, okay, I'm just making sure they can see.
Yeah, you got to check it every now and again until you get some little like X's or something, and it's like, okay, I'm in camera range. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen some people, and they're making like 8 and 9 grand. But
Yeah.
most of them are from a foreign country, so I don't know. It's like people I've never heard of, and they're just drawing. A lot of them are drawing like fantasy stuff or anime, and
the anime's big.
Anime is very big.
It's wonderful, like manga stuff. I watch a lot of anime. I read a few mangas. I like they have a different way of storytelling.
Yeah,
not necessarily works here.
No,
but I love the way they tell like action. The way they tell the story of action and how they do that is wonderful. Some of their setups compositionally is a little weird because it reads different.
Yep. Yes.
But man, they knock out that action stuff really well. They can display movement well in ways. Well, we do it now, but back in the day, like it was two separate things. The way they do it, the way they do it over here. But I don't know. I find value in it. I love the way the Europeans stage stuff.
Yep.
Like the way they stage their establishing shots in their scenes there. Man, they're so good. Still different than us, but man, so good. I feel like Dan Panosian, like I'm putting all these lines in there. Except he's way better. I just met Dan at the last Heroes.
Oh yeah?
All these years, I never met him because I was always kind of intimidated because he's an amazing artist. But he's a super nice guy. I knew that. I had heard that from tons of people. And I believed it, I don't know. It just intimidated, I guess. And finally at the auction last year, we met and he goes, man, I really love your piece. I was like, you know which piece is mine? That's what I said. Like, how do you know which one is mine? That's crazy. Why would you know that? Yeah, we talked for a little and I was like, man, in my head, I didn't say this out loud. I almost did. I was like, man, this guy is super awesome. Like, he's just a super nice guy. Um,
And he works out.
yeah, he should. I need to start again once I get better. I only have like 2 more days of antibiotics left. And I'm still really congested though, but you know, I don't think that antibiotics are gonna 100% help that. Let's see. See? Thanks.
Oh yeah, nice.
Let's get some hair. Let's do that. 90s. I have hair in front of my face, but
That's
I'm not
right.
getting rid of it.
Hey.
It's like sex appeal, right? It's kind of wild.
Right.
Yeah. I guess.
Well, you know, in the 80s we had big hair.
That's true. I had Asian afro. That's what I called it. Like that straight across cut when your hair is all like boom, like because you know when you're young and most Asian guys I knew and myself included, we had like very thick hair, and then when they cut it straight across like that Beatles bowl cut, it just
There you go.
poofs out, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Asian afro is what I used
You know,
to.
my son kind of, you know, being half Filipino, he kind of has that. But my wife gave him a little trim on the sides this morning. She had to buzz some of the sides down because it was, you know, his hair is so thick, and I'm like, man, I wish I had his hair.
That's
I mean,
the way my sons are too.
I still have a lot of hair, but my hair is thin, and it's always been that way. But his is like it's like thick, you know.
That's how my wife's hair is and my son's. Mine is going away. The way of the dodo.
Well, mine's not receding. It's just I got a lot. It's just thin, you know.
Yeah.
And his is just mop of thickness, and you know, I'm okay with it being gray. You know,
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I'm losing it, but it's fine. I don't really care. I don't know. Never put like any stock in that type of thing.
no,
It's weird. I have friends that do like horribly, like where it's like a problem, like to where they're not like honest. You
right?
know what I'm saying? Like I have a friend who dyes his beard on the regular but swears he's never done it.
Yeah,
And you're like, dude, I see all the gray on the bottom.
right. And then you see him like 2 days later, and it's
And it's gone. Yeah, that doesn't work. That's not how hair works. It doesn't grow gray on the like. It doesn't grow out dark and turn gray like that. It's usually gray, and then it's black, and then it turns gray. Yeah. But whatever. I don't ever say anything because it's like if you feel better, if that makes you feel better, yeah, whatever. Like why do I care that much? I don't care that much about it. I don't have to like live with it or like it doesn't affect my life, but
That's right.
it's just weird to me though. That's my observation. Like why put so much like stock in that?
Now, we do have 13 people, 12 people watching. We just lost one as I was saying that, but
That's probably because I'm talking about being shallow.
I was just gonna say no questions are coming in. So why we got this chance? If somebody,
I wish it was up more so you guys can see. Oh, I don't like that. It's got to go in.
any questions? Now's your chance. There you go. Boy, you draw like a real artist with the way you hold the pencil, Drew.
Oh, somebody else said that.
You don't draw like us fanboys.
Somebody else said that to me on a show Like another artist, he's sitting next to me.
You
and
draw like Rocco holds a pencil.
He goes, so where'd you learn? What school did you go to? And I was like, I didn't go to any school. And he goes, well, I was like, how about yourself? He goes, oh no, I can't even hold a pencil right, not like you. And I was like, what? This is just a habit I developed because when I do layouts and gestures, I like to keep it loose.
Yeah.
But also, I don't get wrist pain, so I attribute that to this too, because it is a lot of arm movement, less wrist movement.
Right. I sometimes I don't really go in with features, but I'll do like the ball of the head sometimes with it. Depends.
You get a nice gesture.
See, it depends on the size of the piece. Like this 9x12, sometimes I will,
Oh yeah, you can't do it on small pieces. That's just
doing this on small pieces tough for me.
Oh, it's tough for anybody. I don't do it on small pieces either. Just because it's small.
9 or something. That's kind of small.
What?
I thought that was a 6x9. That's
9x12.
Oh, okay.
I'm just doing it this size. Hello. I swear, I don't know. Yeah, where's the symmetry tool, John?
Well,
God, I need one right now.
It's called your brain right now.
Yeah.
Or if you had like some, you could have drawn a little grid. You could have done like a.
What am I, John Beatty?
Yeah.
No,
hey, believe me, on some of those sketch covers it shows, I will find the center point just because I've done some, and then I look at it and it's like I've got it roughed out, and then I'm like, oh man, it's just like an 1/8 of an inch over, but it drives me. It's like my OCD kicks in.
Also, I never besmirch what other people do. Everybody has their thing, man. Sometimes I don't see the point of it, but that doesn't matter because I'm not doing it, so it doesn't matter what I think.
If I'm that close, I may as well, do it.
No, it still bothers me if it's slightly off. Like I can see this one eye slightly lower, and it's killing me.
You know what? Mike Zeck and we talked about that. I'm like, I was doing a drawing, and I'm like, Mike, I can't get this eye right. I said, I even asked him sometimes, can you, like a fresh set of eyes or maybe he can like lower it or do whatever, and he'll just like erase it out and sketch it in real quick. And it's so funny because he's like, yeah, I do that all the time too. And I'm thinking, Mike Zeck just told me he does the same thing I do all the time. He'll notice, before he hands something over to me to ink, that he needs to adjust one eye higher or lower.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's just because, you're both artists. Like whether he's Mike Zeck or not, he's still an artist, a human being. So you guys share observations,
Right.
But I would have felt the same way.
But what?
I would have been like, oh, Mike Zeck, he thought the same thing I did.
Same mistake.
You guys blow my mind. Like Zach, you and like Stelfreeze, and like the more I talk to like people like that, I don't know, you guys are like people I admire, as I grew up, and then I find out more and more every day that like we're just all normal people.
Yeah.
For some reason I put like trust me, I met Art Adams once, and all I said to the guy was, I walked up to his table. Unbelievably, there wasn't a lot of people there. It was a long time ago, and I walked up to him. He was a lot taller than I thought he was.
Right.
And I go, you're awesome. And that's all I could say. I didn't know what else to say. And he goes, thank you. And I was like, all right, man, keep up the good work. And I just left.
You give him the double thumbs up.
Yeah, I gave him the thumbs up like this. I was like, you keep up the good work, buddy. And I walked away, and I was like, that. What is wrong with me? Yeah.
Or looks out of focus. There we go. Okay.
I have crazy anxiety. What is wrong? I agree with what you're saying about money. It's not worth, but would you? Yeah, well, yeah, sure. It weighs heavy. It weighs heavy on everybody. That's because we let it. Look, let's break it down. Let's really break it down. If you need the money and you're not making it, if you don't make it, whether you make it or not, if let's say you don't make it, and you kill yourself about it, does it change? Like, if you didn't kill yourself about it and you still didn't make it, you're still in the same place. You still didn't make the money. So you, instead of I know it weighs heavy, but I've learned over time that, man, quality of life is important. And to let your quality of life fall and then still come up short, it just makes it worse. Especially when it's something like money. When you can't always control that. You can't control what people are buying. You can influence it, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. You just got to have different, you got to come at it differently. Go, well, I need to make money. I'm not making enough to do it this way. I need to have different revenue streams. I need to make money doing sketches. I need to make money selling merch. I got to make money doing comic jobs. I got to make money doing story. You gotta be constantly changing your game. If you're just looking at one thing and you're not succeeding and wondering why you're not making any money, and after years of doing it, then you obviously need to change something up. But what I'm saying is, when you're at a show, those guys who are poisoned by, they let their whole show be governed by a lot of factors they can't control. One, where you're sitting, you can't control that all the time. Two, who's there and who's really there to spend that money? Are they people who are not usually going to shows? Or then they're probably not going to buy art. They're just going to buy what? Commission? I mean, not commissions, prints, buttons, free stuff. Is it an art show? It's you have to. I think John and I were talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Some shows are art shows, some are merch shows, some are signature shows, and some shows you're not going to make anything. That comes from experience. Here's is an art show.
Yeah, HeroCon is definitely you come prepared to do commissions. Yeah,
you better be ready to draw. But it wasn't always like that for me. I used to stress out. I don't know about you, John, but God, I was working IT, making decent money, but for some reason going to a show, it was like live or die on what I made. It really bothered me if I didn't make anything. It was the real issue. It would actually get me to the point where I was bummed, man. I would bum people out around me because I wasn't doing well,
Well, I don't get that far out of control, but to be honest, the last couple of years, that's basically how I've made my living is through shows. But this year, I don't feel like doing that many shows, and I kind of burned out. And at the end of both the last 2 years, I was like, I don't have anything to show. I mean, I've paid my bills, and I've got some nice sketches from people that, that I've done or I've inked over Zach, but it not like personal work or something a nice commission that someone wants me to do that I can spend some time on and enjoy. And, it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah, I agree. And, maybe a perspective of what your end game is different. Like I said, there's guys out there who are trying to get comic gigs. There's guys out there who are just trying to sell prints. There's guys that just working on commissions is all they do, and they like that. It matters what your end game is and like what you're trying to accomplish, and how you have to set yourself up to make yourself happy and complete your goals. You know, not everybody's in there to draw comic books. Some are just in there to make some cash doing prints. I know some people hate those guys.
That's not, well, I hate the ones that it's not even their own work. You know?
That's weird. They shouldn't be doing that. That does bother me. Yeah, that bothers me a lot. Like, because it's not theirs. You know what, dude? I think we talked about this too. Like people, like you when you ink something, right, and then you're selling it, like you always say, well, you know, Zach drew this or this person drew this, and I inked it, right? It always bothers me when there's people who like they don't do that. Like they take all the credit, like it's all theirs. That bothers me a lot.
Yeah. The only justification I make for that is if somebody really doesn't get the pencil or inker thing and they just said, "Is this your work?" And I can tell it's going to be one of those, because I've had that discussion with people. Yeah. I'm like, "I did the inking." "What do you mean you did the inking?" And then it's like, "Oh boy, you know, I can explain it till I'm blue in the face," and they still don't get it. And I weed those people out.
What would you say if somebody came up to you and it was like a, that Wolverine Annual 8, and somebody goes, "Did you draw this?" What would you say though?
No, if they ask, if they say, "Did I draw it?" I tell them, "No, I inked it."
Yeah, see, I get compliments on colors on my prints that I didn't color, and every time people do that. But man, the colors on this are dope. You did a great job. I'm like, well, I didn't do that.
Right.
This artist Cody Carnival or John Roush or Gary Henderson, they did that, and I tell them, and I say, look, you can look him up online. He's awesome, but I use that to promote other people, you know. But there's so many people who don't do that, man. They're just like, I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me. It shouldn't bother me as much as it does, but it does, man.
Boy, this is a great time for people to ask questions. Usually we have a lot of questions and we're not, maybe people are just enjoying the drawing today. And that black hat you're doing is looking quite nice. I'm going to have to get on that Patreon to make you draw for me.
Yeah, I think what else am I doing? Pixie.
Pixie.
The only reason I'm doing 9x12 is because I fell behind and he had like 3 coming to him. And he was, maybe 4. And he was like, well, can you just do me a 9x12 and just do 2?
Oh, nice.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And yes, I'll be happy to do you a 9x12 and just do 2. Because that's half the size. Like the size he was getting. Or maybe it'd been smaller than that. I think it's 5x7 for the pencil ones.
Like we were discussing earlier, before we started this stream, I really admire someone like a James Jean.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Who, I mean, beyond his talent, but somebody that started in comics and then knew when to get out and what to, like, seemed to know, like, the right moves to, like, be able to go paint what he wants to and then make like a really good living at it.
Make a year's wage in a couple hours.
Exactly. Well, that painting took him a while, but selling the print,
still, $200,000 for a print. He sold that painting. Like, I'm sure he did it. He sold it for a lot.
Well, I'm sure.
But no, I'm glad he's making money. I'm happy for him, dude.
But let's look at it this way. He does live out in LA.
He does, and he travels a lot too.
That's if you make 150K in LA, that's, I think, you're like right at the poverty line.
Yeah, I had a friend who started a storyboarding gig making like $96,000 a year. That's starting.
Right.
And He's been doing it for like 6 years, and he makes a lot more now, but still, 1 bedroom studio apartment, like
2,500.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
guessing.
I think it is 2,500 too.
I'm guessing, but I'm figuring that's
I
about
think
right.
it is 2,500 for that apartment. And I think you hit it right on the head, to be honest. Uh, and But he's happy. He likes LA. He likes how cultured it is, and uh, there's always something to do in art events, and a lot of artists are there. So he's enjoying it. He's also single.
Well,
Uh,
that helps.
yeah, and I am like I remember once he asked me because he's trying to get me a job at one of the things, and he's like, "Look, you can just live with me for 6 months, and you'll make whatever he was making, and then it's off season because the shows go in seasons,
Right.
and then once the season is done, you can just go home for 6 months and then come back." And I was like, dude, I can't leave my family for like. It's easy for a single person to say, I love my wife and kids.
Yep.
I can't do that. Like, it would kill me. I would give up in like 2 months. I'd be like, dude, I can't. Like I got to get out of here. There's no amount of money that I could make to keep me away from my wife and kids that long. Plus, I'd also be assuming that my wife would want to do everything alone.
Right. Yeah.
That's unfair to her. And I know my wife because, like I told you, we built our thing on honesty. She would tell me. She'd be like, I don't think that's fair. And I would agree with her. You're right. It isn't fair.
Mine would say you're old. Get the money so when you're dead, we can.
Now, if it came with like a retirement plan or something, then maybe I'd do it. But it doesn't.
It would have to be a discussion.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't do it. And I love the guy. We've known each other since the 5th grade. So
did I tell you about the Halloween shows? And I was turning them down because I thought she would get mad. And
oh, it's because you were missing Halloween with your son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like when he was 2 or 3 or something, and I turned down like 3 shows that were all going to fall on Halloween.
Well, that's nice. I mean, did you go out? Well, did you guys go out or anything?
Well, we were out at dinner, and I told her, I said, so what, and it was still a ways out from Halloween. And I asked her, I said, so what do you think we should do for Halloween? And she wasn't, she's like, well, I don't know, we'll take Jacob out or whatever. We'll find a party. Cause trick or treating, like when I grew up, we'd go over the neighborhood. It was safe and it was fun. Nowadays it's like, I kind of like the trunk or treat, where they have it someplace where maybe it's even like we have one at the chamber, and they have businesses and they set up, and so you're not like just out on a neighborhood street, and
I go to my mom's neighborhood.
Yeah. So
it's a really nice neighborhood.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I've turned down 3 conventions that fall on Halloween, and she's like, why'd you do that? And I said, well, I feel like I should be here for that. She goes, no, you should do the show.
Yeah, make some money for the family.
Yeah. I mean, she, so I was like, really? And I was like, I thought, she's like, if it was a birthday or something.
You just collected candy.
Yeah. So Halloween was kind of the, that one's not, okay.
But Christmas, Thanksgiving, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, those are a little more, you want to be with your family. Halloween, okay, kids can have fun, and they don't, I don't think they need both mom and dad. They just need one.
There you go, John.
Nice.
Black Cat. No reference. Boom.
now, just as you said that, I got to read the chat, and Genome David says, "Okay, here's a hypothetical. Who do you think the most influential comics artist, different artists per decade, was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s?"
Oh man, I don't know. So many.
70s, I'm gonna probably say it had to be Neil.
I was gonna say Neil too. Well, I mean, it matters what it is, like Neil, but then, man, those guys in the studio were pretty influential too.
Yeah, but they didn't do the amount of work Neil did.
That's true. That's true. What about Gil Kane? Would he be in discussion in the 70s?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Wasn't he more? I'm thinking Neil kind of got in the 70s, right?
I would say in the 80s it was John Byrne. Or Art Adams. Jesus, how many people did he influence in the 90s that were,
you know what? Art Adams is just Mike Golden.
Yeah. Like, but I'm just saying, like, how many people reference him? Who's your Art Adams? Like, it's just like when I was in the 90s, like when I was first trying to get into the comics industry.
90s is definitely Jim Lee. Or I would say Todd McFarlane, but I think Jim probably edges him out for Marvel and DC work.
I think Jim too. I also think Jim was a better artist. Technically.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Because you ever hear Todd talk? Even now, he says some outlandish stuff that's not true. Like when he draws, he goes, this shadow here is from this. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, it's not from that. That's craziness. Unless your head is shaped like a rhino. There's some shadow in the forehead. And I was just like, what?
David says he thought Sal would be, I know I'm Sal Buscema in the 70s, but no, influential.
Lopez.
But again, Lopez was kept he wasn't working on a lot of projects. He was in the licensing stuff.
That's what I was gonna say. His work is staple.
Yeah,
for licensing, like the way the characters look. But yeah, Neil Adams was as in storytelling and comics. Like if you're saying comics, just comics, probably Neil in the 70s. I think
it's got to be Neil.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody on the Marvel side that was. Other than Kirby, but is his influence more in the 60s?
Yeah, he would have definitely been.
And Romita's more the 60s, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but if you're talking influential, Neil changed everything.
Yeah.
When Neil came in, the game changed. And you can't really say that about a Sal Buscema. He didn't change a bunch of up and coming artists to suddenly start rendering and drawing like him.
Hey, tell that to Ron Friends.
That's true. That's a wonderful argument.
Modern day John Romita, I tell you.
That's true.
Every time I see his stuff, I'm like, I love John Romita Senior stuff.
Yep, I do.
And I love Ron Friends' stuff as well. I just feel like if you want to go old school, and bring it to the new, it would be Ron. He would kill that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of trying to answer the question with one artist that really impacted the 70s.
Yeah, I think Neil would be the biggest in the 70s. There's a lot of great artists then. But
I'm also thinking volume of work, Yeah, Wrightson was around, but he wasn't doing, look at how many covers Neil did in the 70s. He did almost every DC cover on books.
Yeah, I don't know. In the 80s, John Byrne, man.
John Byrne is a good one. Yeah.
Like, geez, like the X-Men alone, that doesn't even include like the Fantastic Four and
Iron Fist. Although that could have been in the 70s, I think he was doing Iron Fist.
And then in the 90s he did Namor, right?
Yep.
But I'm like just the X-Men and Fantastic Four alone, like his runs on those books, like come on. Like they're still telling the Claremont and his stories now in the movies. Like they can't get away from that Dark Phoenix thing. Everything leads to that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he also made Wolverine badass.
I think it's funny that we had no blowback on Jim Lee. Everybody.
Yeah, Jim Lee in the 90s. Come on, man. He's like the alpha dog at that point, right?
I think so, yeah.
Even though McFarlane was getting all those Wizard #1s, like top artist thing, but let's be real. Like, I feel like those are a little one-sided. Jim Lee, like, not just like his technical ability, but his storytelling ability was better. And how many people just copied him? Like, he started that whole like West Coast crosshatchy thing. I felt like he was the one.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So I don't know. He influenced the whole generation, who still draws like that.
And it drives me crazy. It's not my cup of cuppa, but that's okay because that's what makes everyone different.
I want to side note this and say that doesn't reflect that they're the best artists.
Right.
I mean, some people may think that, and that's totally fine because that's their opinion. There was a lot of quality artists in all those eras that were influential, but I don't know as comics as a medium. Okay, I'm done with this. See, you can see it now. See, it's got a little shading in there.
It's a beauty.
I just like her subtle smile.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, I'm signing it. And it is done. I got one more to do for him, and I'm mailing it off. Oh, I should be working on pages. I got 3 left. They're not 3. As in when I say I have 3 left, it's not like a start to finish. I believe I have like 2 or 3 panels done on every one of those pages.
Right.
So I have like 3 panels left on each page. Which means I can probably finish by tomorrow, which brings me 3 days early. Whew. And also, I got the first 10 pages for the next issue, so I can go right into starting those.
That's always nice.
Yeah, tell me about it. That doesn't happen a lot. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to be coloring in the car today, or inking. There's that. Collector.
Okay. That's nice.
Moon Knight.
I don't know if Lloyd. Yeah, I like the way that turned out.
That's for someone in France.
Is that the Cosmic Ghost Rider?
It is. That's a print of the piece I did. These are smaller prints, like little Bowie and John Wick. I even see the tones in there.
Yeah.
Zip tone. I like the zip tone that's close. I don't like the spread out dots. This is one of my favorites. This one I love, but no one ever buys it. It's a Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was that done with all marker?
What?
Was that done, the Poison Ivy? Was that all marker?
All marker, like barely only ink on there are her eyelashes.
Yeah, that's what when you flipped it by real quick, I went, wait a minute, there's no,
Yeah, there's no marker in that at all. I mean, no ink. Like
now,
India, except for the eyelashes.
On the commission on that, was it just you just combined the inking or the coloring with the base price and?
Yeah, well, no, technically they're paying for a full color drawing.
Right.
Like if I decide to ink with marker, which is what I essentially did. Like I love the shift in color in the hair goes from like a pink to a red, but you can't really see that. But then I like inked with the like its color is called cherry.
Right.
It's like a reddish orange. But I inked with that, and then like yeah, I have some like solid lines in there, but the only black ink in there is her eyelashes.
It's really nice.
You know, no people don't really look. I did a Human Torch like that,
Right.
for somebody, and they were like, I thought like they were actually turned off by it. Because they were like, well, I thought you were going to put in all those details you do in most of your stuff. And to be honest,
they are in there. They're just in color.
It took longer than what I normally do because I have to like blend all these colors, which was a lot harder. To be honest, it took me probably 2 or 3 more hours than it normally would have. But I didn't want to explain that. It doesn't matter. If the person's, and I did him another one, and let him have that one.
Really?
Yeah, because I it's not that I felt bad. It was more I just wanted to be nice. I felt bad. Well, I did. He was disappointed, and I felt bad. Now don't take advantage of that because that only works once.
Okay, I'll use my one up on something.
Yeah. After that, I'm just like, dude, then here's your money back. Because I killed myself on that thing, and he just didn't like it, and that's fine.
Hey, Drew, I was going to actually ask you, do you want me to, and I know I didn't yet, do you want me to go ahead and do that Daredevil you sent me? Ink that up?
I thought we'd wait, though.
Okay.
Print it out, or I was thinking about transferring it to paper, like penciling it, just light boxing it in pencil and then signing it and sending it to you.
Okay.
Because that makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
And then you can and then I wanted to send you a few more drawings when I get the chance.
Yeah, because I mean, worst case scenario, if I'm working on them, we can put them up online. If they don't, we'll have them at Heroes Con. And
yeah, I think they'll sell.
Oh, I think so too.
I'm gonna color this one in the car.
I know. I did. Is there gonna be more on that one? More?
Yeah, I'm gonna color it. No more inks.
I saw it with just the white ha ha ha, and I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks neat. I think alone, but with the colors, and what I'm thinking is, I'll probably go over all of this in red. Right. And the cool thing about, if you ever notice on the markers, some of them take and it'll turn pink, but lately it just won't do anything to them.
Right.
It'll just stay white. I'm gonna test it out right now. Even if it turns pink, I'm kind of good with that.
Yeah.
But lately, it hasn't really seemed like. Look. Oh no, it changed it. Oh well, it still looks cool. And if anything, if I want it white again, I'll just go over it again.
That reminds me, I'm gonna pull out my. That should be. For those of you just joining, this is the Pentel pocket brush. Just going to see which of these, if any, remain. Let's see. I got to get a paper towel. I'm just going to put a big wash of water on it and see what bleeds and what doesn't. Oop. Get back up there. Yes, Stanley and John Buscema. I was having a conversation with Graham Nolan about how great one of my there was that whole period where Buscema was doing like Silver Surfer and Namor and the Avengers, and it was just like, oh man, what gorgeous figure work. All right. I've got a big 1-inch wet flat brush right across. See, look at there. Kuretake brush marker, Drew.
No, it doesn't work like that for me. It must be
Okay,
the
I'm
paper I'm using.
I'm picking up a little bit, but if I would have went back, okay, pit pen. That's only getting the the tone from.
What kind of paper is that? Just Bristol?
Well, it's beginning to bleed out now.
Yeah, it should. It's not supposed to be waterproof.
This
It's
is over
waterproof
the
ink.
broad one, and then this is over the Pentel pocket brush, which, like I said, I'm getting a little bit of gray, but it was from up here, so on the brush. But it's not like.
I wouldn't do a wash with it.
I would maybe do it.
Straight myself.
I would spray fix the black first, and then do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or just use waterproof ink.
Yeah, I would be real safe. Hey, did you finish those little bottles of ink that you were?
No, I did that Dark Knight one with those inks. And I still have like half a bottle of that left. I haven't even opened the second bottle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. Like, I can't believe that.
No, I thought you'd be through one of them easily by now.
I thought so too. And now I still have like half of one and then one whole one. I will tell you one thing. I am buying more. I really like that ink. I like the way it spreads. I also like how flat it is.
That's what was. I made a comment like on one of your pieces about how dark the ink really was. I can't remember.
It was I have super scroll I have to color.
Yes. Did you ink that in that?
Yes.
Man, that was dark.
Watercolor that, but then I was like, yeah, that guy didn't pay for that. Like, I mean, that's a lot of work, man. And you know, I don't want to sound weird, like, but I mean, just if you didn't like, that's a. Oh,
I know. It's like you're really giving like something. I mean,
well, I mean, it's just gonna be more time.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Sometimes we do, UI, any other artist. Sometimes we'll give a little bit of extra if we're into a piece, right?
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Watercolor in that thing would be a whole nother. You could do another like black and white or whatever commission by the time you spent watercoloring for no extra fee.
Yes, I would totally charge more for watercolors just because of the time involved, the layering, and like the decision making is way more nerve wracking for me. Maybe not for somebody like Nick Rung who does it all the time.
Oh, when I was watching him just throw those colors in and like he knows it, in the little finger tap thing. That was new to me. I was like, oh, that's.
That's confidence, man. That's experience too.
Yeah, it is.
But
I know I'm not gonna like suddenly become this great watercolorist, but I got to start somewhere.
You do. You got to start by doing. That's what always confuses me when like there's a lot of artists who look at stuff and like say, "Oh, I know how to do that," but they never really do it. They just say that.
Well, it gives it. Watching him gave me confidence to like, okay, so I'm gonna lay a big green, down on the chin and then put red over it and make it look like a 5 o'clock shadow, and then I do it and I'm like, mine didn't work.
Yeah. Because then you don't know how much water you had in there.
Exactly.
And he knows, like just years of doing it. And now that he's he's been full time doing it, like art in general for a while. But I'm saying like fine art.
Yeah.
I think it's been like 5 years or something like that. I just remember when he announced that, like, I'm not doing comic stuff anymore. I was like, wow, that sucks. Because he's amazing. But then it doesn't suck because he's still amazing.
Yeah, I actually really like the portraits, and I love the skulls he paints.
Oh, another thing. At Heroes Con, my art dealer, on and off art dealer, I guess, I really take care of all my art stuff, but I don't know. I guess in some, I don't know, to be honest. But the people I usually do art dealing stuff with, if I do it,
Right.
I have a table at Heroes, and I will be doing free sketching there on one of the days on for like a couple hours. So if you're going to Heroes, I'll announce more later.
Like
And you
full
want
pieces or
free sketch?
little sketch cards or what?
I don't know. They're providing everything.
You're art dealer person?
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting a fee, dude, to be honest. I'm
Okay.
not doing it for free. I'm doing it for free for people, but they're paying me for those hours. So like, don't feel bad. If you want to get a schedule, I don't want to, get a free one. And don't worry, I'm there. That is a cool ass Craven, man.
Well, he's not even my favorite, but Zach does a nice one.
Yeah, he did that those books.
Yep.
God, man, I love those books. Those
You
covers.
know, and I have to admit, I am so jealous that Bob was on the book and got to ink that 6-parter, because that would have been for Zach and I like Secret Wars, The Punisher, and then to finish it off with the Craven's Last Hunt.
Yeah, those covers are something else.
That would have been a nice trilogy. I mean, it was for Mike because he penciled them, but it would have been a nice bookend, because that's pretty much, after Mike did that, he didn't do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, why?
He started going to Europe and doing portfolios.
Yeah, I guess you can make more money doing that. It's not as stressful. Yeah, so after I pick up my son, I'll be working on pages for the rest of the day.
I actually, for anybody listening that has one of my little quick 6x8s, tomorrow is kind of my, I don't want to call it my free day, but it's my study day. It's my get stuff kind of organized for the end of the week. I got some packaging to do, like you did, Drew. I got stuff laying here that needs to be mailed out.
So do I. I should have done it today, but I had to.
But I interrupted you and said, "Hey, let's make up for yesterday."
I had to go grocery shopping this morning. It threw me off. What did he say?
Huh?
Both of you have such clean lines. Would you say that's mostly experience? Yes. Practice.
Yep.
Practice. And you get a confidence. Like, I notice it a lot in young artists. When I say young, I always mean not in age, but in experience. Because you can be 40 years old and not drawn for a while, like before, or just learning. I'm saying young artists in that respect. You can see the nervousness in their lines, the little short ticks and everything, and there's just no confidence in their gesture. But that comes. I used to do exercises.
That's what I keep telling people, that practice.
Like, let me get a pencil. I had one. There it is. Let me get a plain piece of paper if I can find one. You ever do that? Like, you have a piece of paper and you're like, I don't want to do it on that because I can make money with that piece of paper.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
That's why just for that water test on the markers, I just used one of my smaller 6x8 pieces of wet media instead of a 9x12 piece of Bristol.
I used to do this, like circles, over and over again, until like I covered an entire page with circles.
And then you turn it over and cover it again.
And well, then I would do this line, 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 and then just straight across, right? And did I hit the dang board. But I keep doing that until I got straight lines all the way across, right? And then I'd go the other way. I start short, like short, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, and then all the way across, and then I just go across. And then I just keep doing that until I got used to drawing straight lines. And then I do stuff like this. Like, I know you can barely see that, but like swirls, but I connect them and over just to get the movement, like even a circles over and over and over and over and over. And then just, yeah, like you said, just keep doing it until you cover an entire page. Don't do this. You see that? That's ridiculous. They never get anything done. I have a whole conversation in that one circle. Just draw circles, man. But like actually try and keep them nice and round.
Right.
Be perfect, no, but you get this confidence with curves and lines that are more organic. Like it just gets easier the more you do it. And like this isn't stuff you have to show anybody. That's the great thing about a sketchbook. It's for you. It's not for anybody else. There's no vanity in this. It's just getting the movements down, getting confidence in doing the lines. If you want to draw a bunch of eyeballs, then do a whole page of them. Don't just willy-nilly do them, but like get the structure right,
And don't spend a half hour drawing one eyeball.
No, look, I just did 30 seconds. One's done. And then you try a different eye, a more weavy eye, maybe older eye, has wrinkles, right? And then pull this eyebrow down, make it low. And just do another eye. Eye is done. And then I use noses in the same way. Do different noses. Some are just normal, straight superhero noses, or you can have nice, round, long nose. Like, but do whole pages, not just like I just did 2 eyes, 2 nose. Do a whole page of eyes, whole pages of noses and hands and fingers and everything. Like, don't sell yourself short, because if you just do them quick, you do a whole page of eyes in like 20 minutes. And you just learned something. Might not think you did, but you did. And just keep doing it. Like, you want
to not a finished book.
Yeah, I mean, if you want it, but I don't know. I wouldn't. Just play. Have a good time. And then next thing you know, when you're drawing another eye, maybe put a little highlight in it. You do another eye, then that practice that you just did, you're like, it just instinctively happens. You're like, this guy's sad. So, you get that brow here and the curl of his muscle here, and then it pushes here, which pulls on this muscle, and then it makes an eye. You even do a little tear. Remember, tears kind of fall from the side, not the center. But yeah, and then you can like throw little highlights in there.
And I believe it's Steve Rude who always says, go back and relearn and repractice, and I agree with that.
I totally do too. Steve Rude is amazing. So I say that a lot. So I'm not trying to be like, I'm serious when I say it. It's not like willy-nilly. I'm not throwing it out there. Is the word capricious? Is that what it is? Like, I do mean it every time. Like, those guys, I have the utmost respect for those guys for their skill. Their political or personal views, I don't know what those are. Nor do I care. I think they're wonderful artists. And I admire their art.
Who's that? You lost me.
Oh, no, I'm just saying sometimes people are like, oh, you like that guy? He believes this. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. but like I enjoy looking at his art, you know, like and even just looking at his art, like I'm not allowed to do that for some reason, I think, but I do anyway because I like the way it looks. Am I buying the book? Probably not, but I don't buy a lot of books. Uh, but you know what I'm saying. Like sometimes, like an artist says something stupid, and then everybody hates him for some reason. Um, and sometimes it is justified. I will say that you're like, God, I can't believe he said that. Is he a maniac? Uh, but I still like look at the art for some reason because I can learn something from the art itself, not his views. I know
Yeah,
that Sean Murphy's going.
I totally agree. There's nobody out there that I've stopped buying their art for uh, political views, religious views. It just, you know, if I like their art, I like their art. I can separate the person from, I guess, the drawing. You know.
I mean, you think about Francis Bean. He was into like masochism, not just himself, but like hurting other people. Uh, and you know, he expressed his work, his dimension, well, his weird point of view in his paintings, you know, which are beautiful. But people still appreciate those, even though he would beat the crap out of his boyfriend, um, and then have his boyfriend beat him. That's kind of crazy, but you know what came out was this beautiful. Now that's not to say some of the stuff people are saying is justified, because I totally don't believe that. Uh, I tell you, like if somebody's doing something to hurt somebody on purpose, then that's just wrong.
Right.
But I know Murphy's in some mess too, um, with that Doug Temple, I think his name is. I don't remember. The guy who does Earthworm Jim, he's like a comic skate guy or something. I don't.
Oh, I don't think he's in trouble. I just think that okay, Doug is
he's doing a cover for him.
Yeah, and well, okay, so Doug is very conservative and Murphy is very liberal. They're friends.
Yeah.
And it's like people freak out that two people on opposite ends of a political spectrum or theology or whatever can actually get along. And
yeah, well, I will say that Doug guy has said some really horrible things about gay people. And that's not all right. I did stop following him because of that, because I felt like that was offensive to me. And I'm not gay, but I have gay friends, and that bothered me a lot. I know he said stuff about trans, but I had already stopped following him by then.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he said, but I know he's said really bad things. Really, not really bad, but like hurtful things about gay people, and I don't appreciate that personally. I don't appreciate anybody saying bad things about anybody. But like, yeah, it came from a place of malice. That's why. Sometimes people grow up a certain way and they say things that's not right, but then you go like the guy, the Duck Dynasty guy. Like he said things, and I went, "Yeah, what else did you think?" Like, oh yeah, he thought that. Like, look at it. He grew up in the Deep South in the 60s and 50s. He probably thinks he's really horrible things about gay people. It's not right, but in his environment, I can see why. Not why, but that it's true. Like that he believes those things. Just from where he's from and what time he grew up in. But I don't know. I feel like if you're being malicious, like, yeah, I can't support. And I don't like his art that much to keep looking at it either. I mean, I liked Earthworm Jim when I was like 14, so I can live with it or live without it at this point. I don't have that many fond memories of it, so I don't know. I don't have anything against Murphy though.
No,
Like
he's
you said,
a talented guy.
he is a very talented guy. If he starts going on some crazy tirades, I'll just look at his stuff through Google image search. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't have to hear the craziness. Does that make
Hey,
sense?
hey, Drew, I'm not going to mention the name, but that guy that you had, was he sending you stuff that day we were streaming?
No, no, I just saw his name.
Yeah, I
Uh,
knew who he was. Like I told you, I'm familiar with that,
yeah, I was harassed by that guy.
but it didn't happen that day.
No, it didn't happen that day.
Okay.
I was just surprised to see him in our thing. You know, you want to speak of something harassing. Now, okay, there's this guy who's on like these art boards, like Facebook groups or whatever groups. And this guy was posting about, I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not trying to call anybody out. But this guy was posting about other artists not fulfilling his commissions or coming in late or whatever. And I have no problem with that. Like, you know, it is what it is. Okay. Now, but he was calling people out by name. This guy who's doing that, he stiffed me on a drawing like 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that.
And he's going on boards talking trash and naming names of artists. I don't think that's right. When he's doing he's doing worse. Like he's not paying for finished work. Like, I think that's even worse. Like, it's not even late work. He asked me to do it, and I found time one lunch period, and I just knocked it out. So it was like 3 days. And then after 3 weeks, he didn't pay me, and so I just sold it. I told him I was going to sell it, and maybe if he wanted a piece later, if I could find the time, I could redo it.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I was just like, why are you? That's not fair. That's just not fair. Because you're only telling your side, but you're not saying what you've done to other people.
That's why it's tough. Like when people are like, "Oh, I don't give artists money up front," and it's like you know, there's got to at least be a 50%. It's hard to trust people unless you've dealt with them multiple times.
Yeah, I hadn't dealt with this guy before, and I like I told you recently, I'm not taking payments up front.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And that he's the only one to burn me. He's the only one, man. You know, I didn't even sell that piece. I gave it to somebody for charity.
Yeah, I think you did tell me that you did that.
Yeah, I didn't even sell it, dude. I just gave it. I gave it to somebody for charity. So somebody will make money off of that, and hopefully it'll. It's a charity, Parkinson's. I believe it is Parkinson's. So it'll go to Parkinson's disease, and you know, to me, that's just as good. I don't need to make money off of it. I was just more upset that somebody would do that, like talk trash about artists by name, and then pull that mess on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like, man, the audacity, really. But like I said, if I didn't know that privileged information of being stiffed, then yeah, he has every right to complain if he wants, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But like, that's pot calling kettle, man. I wanted to say something, but like, hey, man, like before you start dragging people's name through the mud, like you don't remember this, because that sucked, to be honest. But
how about I put your name out there, buddy?
Well, I'm complaining about it, but I would never do that.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but I'm just saying you could just even, you know, hey, how about I put your name out there and see how you like the heat?
Yeah, because like Yuki said, yeah, it could mess. There, I just spent way too much.
I mean, look, everybody's late. Everybody falls behind. It happens. Life happens.
It does.
And we don't, at least I know Drew doesn't, and I don't take people's money and intentionally like not do the work.
Oh no, definitely no.
Yeah, that's the worst thing because I want to get this stuff done, but when life happens, it happens.
It sucks. And it's no, you can't explain it enough because I don't know. Like no one wants to hear excuses.
Right.
So it comes to a point where it's like, well, like I can only explain so much before you're just like, all right, dude, I've had enough. I don't want to hear this, you know? Uh, and that's understandable too. But like, then what? Like, where are we at this point in the dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like you said, that's one reason why I'm not taking payments now. Um, because like I don't have time and I have other commissions I have to get done. But you know, maybe I'm eating a sandwich and I'm like, dude, I have this idea for a sweet collector, like the collector, the drawing. You
Right.
know, it kind of popped into my head. Let me get this down real quick, you know? And I put it in between it because not only did I finish that, I finished this, which is a piece that somebody in France is getting that he actually asked about today because he didn't know this was his.
Right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I finished that yesterday. So it's not like I'm still not doing the commissions that are owed.
Right.
You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because sometimes you look at a list and you're feeling like none of those characters but one will pop out of you. And you go like, I'm going to put this ahead because I feel like drawing that instead of these.
Or your water bill is due.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, I hate to bring it to everyone real world, but you get a $80 water bill. You doing commissions for $80. You do one real quick just to pay that water bill. So it doesn't have to come out of your account and put a dent in your account, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I don't know if people think like artists make a shit ton of money.
Well, some of them do.
Some of them do, but not this guy.
not this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish.
I mean, you know what though? I still enjoy doing what I do. So even if I was financially set and well off, I would still be doing, I mean, I've had this discussion with you and Ron and everyone. And it's like I'm still wanting to learn new things. Like I said, I'm still going into watercolor deeper, but I want to do some acrylic painting too, like the big canvases, that like James Jean, just what I call non-commissioned work. And then if someone wants to buy it later, that's fine. But I just want to do some personal stuff that, I don't have any art direction on, and not even not even like, hey, draw this character. Don't care what he's doing, just draw him. Unlike that guy you got that wanted to tell you how every little finger should be bent.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
He blocked me.
Well, that's fine. He did you a favor.
I showed you what we said, right?
Yes.
I never even was. I just said, okay, sir, I appreciate it. I'll get you another drawing, another out soon. And that's all I said.
And people, you had just shown the rough, and people were like, "Is that for sale?"
Yes. And
at that time, it is for sale. It
was. It's exactly that because he didn't want.
When you put it out there, it wasn't for sale.
Yes, at first.
Right. It was just, hey, here's my layout.
Yes, and then he didn't like it, which was fine. But then the problem was what people don't know. I did a layout. The guy didn't particularly like it, but instead of saying he just didn't like it or give me like a direction, he told me exactly what he wanted.
I mean, exact. Yeah, it was insane. Like how their fingers should be interlocked and
yeah, it was crazy
into the dirt.
And then when I was like, well, I'm usually not, and I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said I usually don't get that much art direction on commissions, and it didn't sound like he liked that comment very much. And then he gave me a response, which wasn't mean. He was just saying, in his business, he has to deal with that all the time, so he finds it weird that I would say that. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I'll get you another layout as soon as I can. And that was it. And then I got blocked.
You know what? You know what would have been funny, Drew, if you were sending him another layout and then you're blocked and then you put it up and it's like, you sell that one too. So
well, I did. I was sending him another layout when I found out I was blocked. I went to send it to him, and it said this person isn't receiving messages. I went to his profile, and it didn't exist anymore. And all the comments he made on my stuff, I was unable to comment on, or like or anything on them. All I could do was delete them. And even if I searched his profile on Facebook,
yeah,
if I'm not logged in, I could find it. But if I was logged in, it didn't exist.
Yeah, no, that's the way it happens.
I didn't know. I've never been blocked before that I know of. So I thought something was wrong with my Facebook. And me being an IT guy, an old IT guy, I had to find out. Like me not being able to find his profile just because is not an excuse for me. Like I got to find out why.
Right.
I found out. It's fine. You don't have to get along with everybody.
You can't.
I try and be kind to everyone. And if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to be mean to him. Like if I ever talk to him again, I don't remember his name, to be honest. But if he ever comes up and mentions it to me, I'm not going to be mean to the guy. You know? There's no reason for that.
No.
But
you take the higher road.
It was a little hurtful for like 2 seconds. I was like, oh. But after that, I was fine.
Yeah, because somebody picked it up anyway.
Yeah, that piece. Yeah, I was really happy with it.
That kind of heals a lot of hurt.
Well,
although
I like it.
I thought it was cool. Right, and I do understand where you're coming from, because when you did that for that specific person and then they tell you they don't like it and here's what they thought they were going to get, that does hurt, because you're like, man, I liked it. I'm sure you liked it, or you wouldn't have put it out there, and a lot of other people liked it. And then he comes back and it's like, no, that's not what I want. Here's what I want. And at that point, it's like, okay, red flag.
Well, that's what you said immediately.
Oh, yeah.
You did. You called it the second I told you what had happened. I didn't know I was blocked at that point. When I first came to you with it, I was like, because I asked you how you felt about that. Like if somebody had done that to you, how you would feel. Because I was really indifferent about it.
Yeah, I don't deal with that. I mean, if somebody wants to put that much art direction in, they're paying a higher price.
That's what you said. Exactly what you said. And then I came, and you know what? I still did the layout again. Because I'm a people pleaser.
Right.
And what happened? That's when I was like, ouch, dude. That's fine. I got that guy, so it didn't really matter that much.
Yeah, it worked out.
It did. And you did say, if I was you, I'd just stay away from that.
Yep.
It's not like he paid anything yet.
That's right. I would have put him way in the back.
And I didn't. I actually I didn't need the money for anything. It was just a really cool idea. I had never drawn that before. So I was like, man, I kill myself 99% of my life. I would like to take a couple percent and enjoy something.
Right.
I'm sorry to whoever's listening who's like, well, what about barbers? I just wanted a little bit of fun for a few hours. Oh, see, I just spit on that black line and it bled.
It's something in your spit.
It probably is. It is. I am Korean.
It's like kimchi.
Yes. Oh, I do eat a lot of kimchi. I eat a lot of kimchi. But yeah, I don't know, man. I try not to be so sensitive.
It's
I do
hard.
get my feelings hurt sometimes.
It's hard. I'm gonna be right there with you. It's hard as a creative person. You know, we get our feelings hurt.
We're all human beings, right, John?
That's it, man.
Um, I did just pick up a comic. Speaking of not picking up any comic, I picked up that new Zach Howard, Mike Mignola, the Hellboy.
I
That Zach Howard's been drawing.
have not seen it.
Oh, it's wonderful. I know he was running late on it, but that's not odd because Zach put so many lines in his work. It's amazing. I picked it up on Wednesday. I still buy comics occasionally.
I forgot just now that you mentioned it because I don't get to comic stores and it would be kind of hard to find. But I picked up that Adam Hughes Hellboy Christmas special from
good, isn't it?
I haven't really looked through it. It's on my iPad.
It's drawn well.
I know, and it's colored well too.
Yeah, well, Dave Stewart, didn't he color it or did Adam do it?
I think Adam did. I think Adam colors all his own stuff, doesn't he?
I don't know. Probably.
I think he puts so much more into the coloring now than he's developed into more of like it's half line work and it's half like color.
Which is
I don't know. You could be right though. It could have been Dave Stewart.
I love Dave's work. Matt Hollingsworth too.
That's what I was just gonna say. Again yesterday at the airport, Graham Nolan's gate was right next to mine, so we had the same flight out of Fayetteville also, and so we were talking, and the conversation went into like colorists and stuff, and I said, there's certain parts of technology I love, and I said, but give me a colorist that knows when to pull back the reins and maybe use a muted palette and bright colors at the right time. And yeah. I said, like Matt Hollingsworth on the White Knight stuff over Sean Gordon Murphy. Love that stuff. I think he does just enough. And then I blinked out on Dave Stewart for a while, and then
Laura Martin's really good.
Laura Martin's good. Yep.
I like Tamara Von Villen. She colored something for me on IDW anthology In the Dark. Me and Cullen Bunn did a story, and she colored that, and she put all these like duotone and halftone dots.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It was beautiful. I was like, this is wonderful. This is before she was doing Marvel work and all that other stuff. This was a long time ago, but I remember her coloring that and going, man, she's good. Like, wow, like that was not what I was expecting.
Dr. Kevin Kaz is back. He said, howdy, I'm back. What I miss? Being Drew Maniac?
Oh.
Yes, a little bit, but not quite. And then Rod says, Drew, what out in the stores comic work of yours would you recommend getting? I think he would recommend the series he's working on now.
Oh, the Vampirella Red Sonja? Yeah, that would be awesome. Helps with the sales. I don't get any of that.
No,
but
right.
Better work.
And if your comic shop doesn't have it, ask them to get it. Tell them you'll pick it up.
Covers if you want, but you can just get the book too. I'm happy either way.
Or you could wait for the trade and then order it.
I don't know when that's happening because I'm issue 8 and no trade unless it is a mini. It's a maxi series, so it ends on 12, and I will be drawing them all. So, I'm on it. I'll finish issue 8 tomorrow, Wednesday, probably.
That is Wednesday, yeah.
And then I'll start issue 9 Wednesday, probably. So definitely, if you're gonna pick something up like that or Copperhead, I really like Copperhead. You can get that in trades.
Was that how many issues was that?
That I did 8 of them. I think it was, I want to say 18.
And was that through Image?
Yes. Scott Godlewski did the first 10, and then I did 8, and then he did 1 issue after that. And I think there's only 2 issues left, but they're like a year or 2 late. But each trade is its own story, so that doesn't matter.
Okay.
So, I mean, like as in this one overarching story, but each one you can read it and you're fine. You don't need to know everything from the previous issues to know what's going on. So, yeah. How's that looking? That's Harley.
Looking good.
I just want to get a little done before I head out to my son's school and sit in the car.
Yeah, I'm actually almost done with this, except I am gonna have to fill in blacks, but for the most part,
do you have a specific brush for that?
I'm just using the Kuretake, and then I use the Pentel pocket brush to fill in the blacks.
Yeah, that spreads faster. I do like the squeak when you fill in with that Kuretake. The squeak, squeak, squeak from the silicone tip.
Yeah, but you know, when you go over an area, it kind of leaves a weird streaky look that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I know that's not important for, like publication, it's not important, but for people that are getting an original.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really, you get 2 schools of thought. Some people want it to look like a photostat, but then me, being an artist, I like to see like the actual brush strokes and the work in there.
I like the underdrawing.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that.
There was
to erase the pencils.
Yeah, there was one guy that was getting quite a few commissions from Zek and I, and he always didn't want me to erase the pencils.
Yeah, I like the underdrawing.
And I was like, yeah, that's not a problem.
Like even my digital pencils, you still see the underdrawing.
Right.
Now, when I marker them up, though, that tends to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Even if I did it in traditional pencil, it's still going to get rid of it, mostly, unless it's on a white area. But these markers tend to lock pencils in. So if you don't erase the pencils and you go over it with like let's say a colorless blender, that's never going away. It's just, I learned that because I was watching these videos of people doing photorealistic pencil drawings.
Uh-huh.
And they were using blenders, like, to lock the pencils in and blend the pencils, like the color blenders.
Yep.
And the guy was like, the second you do this, though, like that's there. Like you can't. And I tried it. He's right. You can't erase it after that. It's just, I don't know if it's just the alcohol soaks into the graphite and it soaks into the paper. I have no idea. Like it melts the graphite. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the science behind it. I just tried it because I didn't believe it. You ever have that when you hear or somebody tells you something, you're like, BS.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Nick Runge watercolor course that I was watching.
Yeah.
I did not know, because he's drawing with a pencil and he says, this is a darker, I think he's using an HB, and he says he used, or not a HB, like a 4 or a 2H. And he says he usually uses a 2H, which is still kind of hard, but he says it's darker than he's using, well, wait a minute, whichever. He's using a darker lead so that it can be seen for the recording.
Yeah, because you can see it.
But I didn't know he said you could actually, before you know, and it depends on what level of glaze you're at, or layering, whichever you want to call it, on the watercolor. You can actually erase pencils after a couple of layers of watercolor. You know,
Yeah,
once you get like all your drawing in, he can go back and erase it, and then he doesn't have the pencil.
yeah, especially if it's a harder, like a 2H.
Yeah.
That's
But
actually way easier to get rid of.
even the darker, he said he could erase. And
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I kind of thought, how's that work? Because the paint's over the pencil. I
well,
guess
the paint soaks into the paper,
right.
not it doesn't sit on top of the pencil, while the pencil still sits on top. That makes sense. But if you oversaturate the paper, the probably the graphite and the paper start becoming one.
Right.
But in the first few, I would think, yeah, it would just sit on top. I've never tried it, but it makes sense. Uh, I have what do you call it? Tracing paper, like the charcoal paper.
Yeah.
I use that for my paintings because I like my drawings to be exact. And like as you can see with this black cat, like I really when I pencil like with details and stuff,
Uh-huh.
I put a lot down. I don't even know where I went. Yeah, I put a lot of lines down.
Now, that's on charcoal paper?
Oh, this is on Bristol.
Oh, okay.
You can hear that. Look, it looks like a trippy dream.
3D effect.
I got to take pictures of this stuff so I can post it. Dramatic.
There you go.
Oh, my wife forbids me to eat kimchi in the house. I can eat it at the bar. Eat it bar the jarful. Buy the jarful, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's good. Luckily, my wife loves kimchi as well. When I was younger, I used to eat squid and fish jerky.
Yeah.
And people's parents wouldn't let me in their house.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, it was stunk, I'm sure. I never knew it stunk until they told me it did.
Yeah, when kimchi gets on your breath, sometimes it's like,
oh, great. I kiss their face.
you need a couple of brushings to get that off.
A couple cigars. That'll get rid of it.
Yeah. What a blend that would be.
That would be and you want to talk about funky breath.
Exactly.
So I'll probably finish that in the car because it's almost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the only reason I mentioned that Heroes Con sketch thing because I just got an email for it. They're like, hey, we're going to do that on Saturday or Sunday because they're not going to be there on Friday. It's just a couple hours. It's like a group of us. Eric Donovan, who's a friend of mine, and I don't know, Scott Godlutsky's going to be there. But he was going to do it if he's there, but he hasn't been replying to the email, so I'm going to guess no.
I know Derek.
So we're going to do, I don't know, a couple hours, I think. I'm not doing more, especially not on Saturday. I'm going to tell them, I'll schedule me for Sunday. Please.
Yeah, right?
Because Sunday, I'm sorry, I do really well Friday and Saturday.
Well, that's the best days.
Yeah, Sunday is looky-loo day, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's your day to relax.
People coming out of church, kids get in for free. They just walk around and want free stuff. Which is fine, and I'm prepared. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this con for like 10 years.
You do have that occasional person that comes up Sunday and suddenly they want like some wild drawing or something. You're like, that ain't going to happen. You know?
Yeah. Sunday I always limit to headshots.
I pretty much limit it to headshots, period.
I'll do full bodies on I'll schedule full bodies on Friday or bus. Saturday, if I finished everything from Friday, Saturday I'll do maybe one full body or bust. I'll schedule it in the
Right.
morning, or even in the evening. I'll do one, maybe two, but mainly just heads. And Sunday, I'll stick to black and white heads, or maybe a single color. Like how you could do like a kind of a
Yeah.
Darwin Cook type, like single color shading.
Yep.
I'll do that. That's why I don't post my prices, because that gets weird on Sunday. Because
I was going to ask you this: do you have like your convention rate versus a studio rate?
no, they're the same.
Because I always find myself putting a lot more work when I'm in my studio because I can. And at a convention, it's like beat the clock. Although if I have time, I'll put the.
Oh yeah, I don't know. They're the same. Only time I change it is Sunday, because, like I said, I don't offer a single color shading on my rates.
Right.
So I probably just take the regular rate at $10. But sometimes I lower the rate, and if you go to a show, I'm sorry, but certain areas you can't get your normal rate.
Right.
Like
No,
you can't.
Yeah.
You
sometimes you got to price the show.
Yes, you have to price the show. But at Heroes, it's 3 days. I also limit what I take. So I don't get overwhelmed. I did that one year, and it really messed me up. So last year I didn't do that. I had a good time.
You have anxiety attacks.
Yeah, I get this I just don't want to disappoint anybody. But this Heroes, it's always limited. I used to not. Well, I didn't have to do that before, because I don't know. The longer you do it, you just get more people who are interested. You get better. You get more of a following.
Right.
So now I don't really worry about it. What I do, though, I have to crack the seal early, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. I've never had that problem. I don't know if my prices are too high or people just don't want to work.
Yeah, I always have the I need to sell something early so I can crack the seal. Or for some reason I just know it's going to be a horrible weekend. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm like, seal is cracked. I'll be all right.
Those first couple of sales are always nice to get under your belt.
Yes. Those first couple commissions, I love it when people come up and they're just like, hey, man, I'm just wondering if your list is still open, and it's only like an hour into the show.
Right.
And you go, yeah, man, actually, you're the first. And they go, really? And that's really not in a funny way, as in like I'm making fun of them.
Right.
That's really nice that they think like you're that popular. Because I'm sure people like Adam, Hughes, and Stelfreeze fill up super fast. But I'm not that guy. And it's very flattering when they do that. So, like I said, I'm not making fun of those people.
No, I'm with you.
I'm just like, when they're surprised, I'm surprised they're surprised. I'm like, you're surprised? Yeah, no, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm surprised you're here talking to me. Yeah,
before a show, do a bunch of popular characters to have a stock to sell. That's usually what a pre-sketch list is for, so that people, that don't want to have to wait, or that they can get guaranteed,
Yeah, their stuff is done when they get there.
And then they just, they can relax. And
some people do that. They do the, portfolios full of sketches.
Right.
They sell them.
Yeah. I've done that before, where I've had a few sketch covers pre-done and stuff, and I've always sold them. It's always been good.
Yeah, I just don't have time. Only if I get stiffed.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a good thing to be this busy.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I feel very lucky right now because like a year ago I was struggling. I was out of work for like 6 months. I couldn't find anything anywhere. I had picked up a Star Wars gig, and everything kind of like not because of the Star Wars gig. It was just something happened. I picked up that Star Wars gig and I was working on that, and then I got an offer from Heavy Metal to do like a 10-pager.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got that Dynamite offer all at the same time. And I had to tell Nate at Dynamite, I was like, look, I'll do the first issue, but my deadline for the Star Wars stuff is this. Can I take like 2 or 3 weeks and do that and come back to you guys? And he was totally fine with that. So, and I did the Heavy Metal thing at the same time I did the Dynamite thing. So after that, I've been okay. But there was like a 6-month period where
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but LJ is Little John, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I kept looking at it going like, that's familiar. That's familiar. It's Little John. He's
great. Is he here?
Yeah. He's been here. And I was like,
Little John?
And he
get commission. Oh, he does. He does come get commissions on Sunday.
He knows the trick.
Little John's wonderful. He's getting a nice piece. I can't wait to do his piece. It's going to be great. I don't draw Darth Vader much, but the opportunity to draw TIE fighters like fighting. So I'm going to do Darth Vader on the deck of a Death Star. And he's supposed to be fighting Jack of Hearts. And I'm going to make his force powers like, yeah. Well, no, I found a way around the costume, John.
So what?
I'm going to make his force powers pulling part of the deck up, grabbing Jack as he's like blasting through part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the background, I'm going to have TIE fighters and X-Wings fighting. Like in the sky. In the stars, I guess it's sky. Right. Is it sky? Space. It's space.
Where no one can hear you scream.
So,
where no one can hear you scream.
Huh?
Where no one can hear you scream.
Yes, and no one will hear them scream. But I wouldn't have came up with it if John hadn't sent me this wonderful story that went with the commission. And I went, and it just kind of made it for me. Just developed as I read it. So I can't wait to do his. It's going to be fun. God. If everybody came to me with stories like that, it'd be easy.
All right. Well, I think we both need to go get some kids, right, Drew?
Kids? Yes, I have to go pick up my son in 10, 15 minutes. I got to leave.
Yep. And I'm in the same boat because he gets out at 3, but I still need to.
Yeah, I leave at 2:30. Mine gets out at 3:45.
I don't know if I'm going to leave this stuff set up because I don't know if I'm going to stream again tonight. I'm kind of probably.
Well, let me know.
Well, probably what'll happen to me is I'll get home and then the trip will catch up to me.
Like you'll get tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know the second after we do my son's homework, I'm gonna be knocking a page out. Because I commit to a page a day no matter what. And Saturday and Sunday I did 2 pages both. So I got 4 pages done Saturday and Sunday. So that's why editors like me.
I don't blame them.
I get a page done at least, but every once in a while I'll squeeze 2 in there. But it's never none. And if it's none, it's only because I'm doing thumbnails, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, hey, you are getting work done. It's just not finished pages yet.
Yeah, well, I think one day I didn't get a page turned in, but I turned a cover in. Like a colored cover.
Little John's saying he'll talk to us later, so I didn't want you to miss saying goodbye to him.
Oh, yeah, bye, Little John. I can't wait, man. That guy's wonderful. Him and his wife.
Him and Patricia.
Huh?
Him and Patricia.
Yes, they're wonderful. They're always so nice. I think he's been getting commissions for me for like 7 years, 6, 7 years. It's like every year I know he's gonna get one. I always save him a spot because I just know. I know.
He doesn't get any from me anymore because I was late on Patricia's Augie Doggy Doggy. You know, I was in Denver and I forgot. Yeah, I got it to him last year, but that's okay.
Son of a bitch.
Still love the guy.
Yeah, he's wonderful. They always drink really nice beer.
They do, and they come down to Disney a lot.
Man, Disney's expensive. I can't mess with it anymore.
I live here. You know what? I don't even know if my son would like to go. He mentions it, but I think he would get bored.
Both of my sons prefer Universal.
I don't even know if my son would like. He wants gaming. You know, he wants like something where he wants like Roblox World.
Oh, my son plays Roblox like a crazy person.
You know what? How old is he?
He's 8.
Oh, I should hook them up so they can, because from Friday when he's out of school until like Sunday, he's Roblox and he's Facebooking the little kids Facebook thing.
Yeah, my son plays Fortnite and Roblox, and every once in a while he'll pepper in some Star Wars. Is it Battlefront or whatever it is? The Star Wars shooter thing. I don't play them.
I'm gonna text you my son's Roblox name.
Okay, I'll give it to well, he won't be on till Friday too.
Well, and that'll work out fine.
Yeah, because like you, my son's not allowed to play, unless it's the weekend.
But man, you know, once he loves Roblox, he's really stuck with it.
Yeah, my son will be the loud one.
Oh wait, there needs to be I think on the end.
Uh-oh.
Did that come in, Drew?
What?
Did that text come in?
I heard my phone.
Because I forgot one did. Okay, there's that second digit on the end.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. If not, I'll.
You'll just send it again.
Yeah, that way, you know, it's always good when you know somebody and your kid can play with them, so you can like literally trust them.
And he's always down to play with kids too. I'm always monitoring their language.
Oh yeah,
that's the big thing for me because even though I cuss like a sailor,
well, he knows the bad words, but he also knows not to use them.
Yeah, same with my son. He likes to tell me when I'm using them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mine does too. And if
that's a bad word.
Well, his mother taught him that stupid was a bad word. So if I'll say like, "Oh, that was just stupid," he'll say, you used a bad word, Dad." And I said, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, my wife, we stupid. We don't use stupid. Just it's because like there's better words out there. And most of the time with something stupid, you're putting a negative on there anyway. Like you're calling someone stupid or an inanimate.
Usually for me, it's an idea. It's like I'll say, "Well, that was a stupid thing for them to build that there." You know,
that's different to me.
But to him, he, you know, so I play it out. I'm like, "You're right, Jacob. It was stupid of me to use that word."
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, like, kids will use it in the sense of like that kid was stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, we're not going to start that. I'm missing a pencil and it's driving me nuts. I'm going to have to buy more yellow soft core pencils. Because this one is just not bright enough. I hate when I lose pencils and I only have one of them. It upsets me, John.
You need like a lemon yellow?
Yeah, but it's the softcore ones are brighter than these coal erase ones.
Right.
And I use the yellow a lot.
Time to buy a dozen.
What?
Time to buy a dozen of them.
I think I will right now, actually. Oh, I think I found it. I did. It was stuck in a crevice. My bag. You know what? You know what's crazy about that? Out of any pencil out of the 100 I have, to be stuck in that crevice, it would be the one I'm looking for.
Of course.
How does that work?
Murphy's Law.
It's ridiculous, is what it is. It offends me. That's stupid. That's what that is. I'm gonna own that one. There, her eye is done. Good. Yeah, I always put a little bit of yellow, especially on this dark paper.
She
really pops it out.
Is she gonna have a lot of coloring going on down below now too?
Yeah, a little red and grays. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Her arm has to go have this pale sheen.
Oh wait, is she gonna have flesh or is she the like pale white there?
Well,
so
she's just gonna have the pale white, but her mouth, like their teeth tattooed onto her face.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm gonna do her lips as white or I'm gonna do her lips as pink. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like,
yeah.
Because if I do the red or pink, it breaks up the whole point of having tattooed on your face.
I was gonna say, do they? Is this something you made up, or did they have her in a comic?
Well, they have her on covers of comics. She doesn't really exist, is what I was told.
Okay.
Like they have her on variant covers, as in artists made a version of her.
Right.
But she doesn't exist in the comic.
Huh.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the red lips to break up the white.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Because I think it because her face is white.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And if
all right. Well, I'm gonna sign off.
All right, I'm gonna sign off too.
It was fun as usual, Drew.
Yeah, didn't lose any organs.
No, that's a good thing. Keep your organs; they're essential.
Yeah, please.
Although there are those few you can live without, but there's like more that you can't live without.
Yes, please. You can get sick a lot, but at least you'll be alive.
And you can you can have your gallbladder removed. Not that I would recommend it. My sister had it done like decades ago, but
I didn't know you could have your gallbladder removed.
Yes, she had really bad gallstones, and they were just like, "Oh, we can just remove it." But the thing is, and she doesn't. You have to really watch your diet. You're supposed to watch your diet of what you eat, or else you get like really bad like stomach cramping and stuff.
Oh,
like even fried chicken and barbecue stuff she loves.
Oh, I got some hologram stickers coming.
Oh, did you get that from Sticker Mule too?
Yes, I saw it today. I was like, $19, I'll do that.
I think I'm going to order some also.
Just because.
Yeah, and I'm just doing my typical little black circle, and I'm going to let the white be the hologram part.
Oh, sweet.
I thought it was funny, though, because they did that first time they offered them, and then they ran out of material to do it. So they must have went, man, we better load up.
Yeah, I was trying to do the double on it. You know how you can do that? You use the deal twice.
Yeah, you can.
You couldn't do it this time.
That must be a special because they're afraid that they will run out.
Yeah, because people like me will buy, I'll buy like 3 sets of 150 instead.
I got their little 2-inch.
Yeah.
And like when I send people artwork, I put one of these in a business card in the thing.
Yeah.
So
I stick them on the packages.
Well, see, I want the people to have the option to,
Oh, good. And see, I always say, who wants to my name on their stuff?
You never know. People love stickers.
Mine says Drew Moss stuff though. Yours looks way more professional.
What's that?
I have mine that looks like an old skateboarding thing. Drew Moss stuff. It's like a.
But you know what? I actually did have my friend Von Glitchka. He's a logo designer and stuff. Do mine.
It's beautiful. It's a good logo. I like it.
So that's who did mine. He did me a whole little identity system.
I also have that one.
Yeah, that's like mine.
Official Drew Moss stuff. Oh yeah.
I don't have that. I went with my like johnbeattyart.com, and then it says comics, illustration, design, and concepts. I need to have him do something like, something like you, like maybe keep the website, but down here put like just.
I wish I had put my social media somewhere on it. I do have a stamp too. One of those like a big stamp about this. It's about this big. Like it's big. I used to put it on the back of my originals.
Well, when I inked, I had one made, and it was like this page inked by John Beatty, and that way people in artwork returns would know. If they have to flip it over to stamp the date and the copyright stuff on the back. See? So if somebody got my pages back, they would know.
See?
Oh, there you go.
And I just and it's like it's got its own, when you press it, the ink's on the other side.
Yeah, and I like that because it doesn't come out like perfect, right? You get a little.
Oh yeah, you get a little bit of frizz on, like it's like an old stamp.
Yeah, like an old stamp. Yeah, I love that. I had been looking for a circle stamp. Where'd you get that?
Stamps. No, I can send it to you. It was they do rubber stamps too, like the boop.
Oh yeah, those are cool. But you got to have the pad.
Yeah. This one has the pad in here.
Yeah, so you can replace it easier, right? And
you don't carry. I did want to get one of their paper embossers where you put your logo and then it presses it into the paper.
That's nice too. Yeah.
Yeah, they do that too. I'll send you a link. I don't remember the name, but it's in my favorites.
Thanks,
so I want to get one of those so I could, like, on my original art, like maybe in a corner.
Yep.
Like,
Dave Watcher, he's the first one that I noticed at Heroes Con doing a little round stamp. Zablo got a piece from him.
Yeah, he's the first person I've seen too. I'm stealing it.
Yeah, and I told Craig, I said, man, I love that idea. I said, I got to get a round stamp like that. And I just never got around to doing it. Yeah,
this place does it, but I just haven't had the time, man.
How big is that one you got?
Oh, it's pretty big. Like, I want to say it's like 4.5 inches.
Yeah.
Like let me get this ruler here. No, it's 3 inches.
Okay. That's the same size of those hologram stickers.
Yeah, the stickers are 3 inches. I have some 2-inch ones, but I don't have 3-inch ones.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you to Drew for joining me. And hey, Drew, if I come back tonight, I will definitely let you know if you want to join in.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll probably, after I get Jacob and get Bella, and once I get home, I'll be like,
yeah. Well, if you need to do that for sure.
Well, the trip usually catches up with me on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's like even yesterday coming home, I was a little tired, but I wasn't like exhausted because I got home at like 6 p.m. Usually I'm not getting in till 11 or 12. But like I said, the next day, Tuesday, I'm usually okay until around 4 or 5, and then I'm just like, I'm out for the night sometimes. But, tomorrow is my day of, I got to do some packaging and all that other fun stuff that gets in the way of producing art. Oh. But hey, this stuff's got to get mailed out. I'm glad I got this piece done. I got to get the blacks filled in. 2 more pieces to Thorsten. I get to do a Tintin, which I'm looking forward to, and Phantom. So
I'm just gonna be working on pages all night. Hopefully, I get it done early so I can work on some other pieces. But
these pieces he ordered like years ago. So this was just.
You know what? He's an angel.
Yes, he is. He's also European.
Wonderful.
He's also European, so he would keep ordering from me, and I'd say, like, do you want me to mail what you got? And he's like, no, just wait till it's all done. And I said, okay, well, that will save you postage. You know, I don't have to charge you postage every time. Yeah. And he liked that idea too. He's
a wonderful person because not everybody's that patient. And like I said, teach their own, and they're justified in their feelings.
Well, the thing is, I can show him like all the other stuff I've got done. You know, it's here, it's finished. He's like, mail it to me all at once. And I told him, though, when I get this done, I have 2 pieces. I'd rather mail him, like, he's got about 8 other things total, I think. I'd rather mail that to him, and then when I get the other 2 done, because mail those. And those are going to come faster because with this streaming and maybe me wanting to cut back on shows, I say that now. I want to be more picky on the shows I do.
I am. I really just do the shows that invite me.
Well, I do too. This year I'm going to do a few, like New York. That's kind of a different thing.
Well, also, like, I love to do. I've done MegaCon before,
right?
But I haven't done it in like 16 years or something like that.
Yeah, well, that may be a good thing. It's never a strong show for me.
Well, see, I'm part of this vacation club, and I get I pay $75 a night for resorts.
Right.
So I would just get it would be a real cheap trip for me. But like I said, I won't go unless I'm invited because that just cuts way too deep into my bottom line. I haven't paid. I don't pay for tables because if I do, like I said, that cuts too deep into my bottom line, and I don't need that stress.
Right. No, I get you. I have not done that yet either.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to have to do it in New York or not. I know everything else I got to take care of, but they might comp me a table, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I need the table comp for sure. If I don't get that, then
I'd rather have the hotel in New York comped or the flight.
That's true.
I'd rather pay.
That's the reason I don't go to New York because I can stay at a friend's house, but I'm not trying to take the train and it just seems like a real big hassle to get there every day.
Well, that's what I've heard too. I've heard that I've even heard you should start booking your rooms now because they run out quick. Oh, it's 2:20. I got to run.
Yeah, you better go. So do I.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Where's the end broadcast? We're going to end it.